All right. Time to send it up north.
How about that Joe Klecko, huh?
Joe Klecko.
Didn't see the story?
No.
Struck and killed a homeless man pushing a shopping cart on the Major Deegan Expressway last night.
No, we didn't see that this morning.
Poor Joe. Well, the Jets are just off to a bad start all the way around, you know.
Wow.
Those were good days, boy. The A.J. Dewey days, Jets were good, the Dolphins were good. Those were good football days.
So what happened? Joe Klecko was driving on the Major Deegan, and what happened? He struck and killed
He struck and killed a homeless man pushing a shopping cart. He had a pushki.
Yeah.
And on the Major Deegan. He said he didn't see him until it was too late because the car that was in front of him was in the way and he couldn't see him.
That could be true.
Yeah, I don't disbelieve that. I like Joe Klecko. He was all right. He's a good guy.
He is a
stole
good
a freight train.
What a player he was.
He played, he was a hell of a player back during the era when, the league was worth watching.
I'll tell you what was great.
This stuff they're putting over now, man.
Well, last night's game was pretty good.
Oh, it was what?
Pretty good.
14-10?
Yes.
I tuned in. It was 14-7 late in the first half, and I watched a few plays, and I'm listening to all the hype about Michael Vick and about McNabb and this and that, and there's nothing going on, And
that's
then
because the defenses were very good.
Well, I see that's not my kind of game.
I like defense.
Especially two highfalutin offenses like those two teams that are supposed to put a lot of points on the board. I don't want to see
Atlanta never puts a lot of points on the board against Philadelphia.
14-10 reminds me of, with Michael Vick there, they're supposed to start putting a lot of points on the board.
They don't against Philadelphia.
Well, that's, they're
last year they played against Philadelphia. Philadelphia held them to less than 30 yards.
Put a lot of points on the board against Philadelphia.
Yes, they did.
I just mentioned that in passing.
Well, Michael Vick doesn't play for the Patriots. Tom Brady does.
I understand that. Well, thank God for that.
Yeah, Michael Vick is a kind of quarterback.
I do like Vicks.
He's
I have
he's a heck of a player.
On my nightstand, just in case when it starts getting into the fall and winter time and you start getting that runny nose. A little Vicks on your throat is always great.
Joe Klecko and Dwight Stevenson.
Yeah,
those were great to watch.
I preferred Adley Stevenson myself, but then again, he was an egghead.
I liked Adley.
Who didn't have a chance against... Well, he was divorced, he was an egghead, he was an intellectual, and against the war hero, he had no chance.
He was smart.
I think that's when the Democrats started losing it, was right about there with the I Like Ike stuff. That's when the whole thing started going downhill.
Well,
and then when they shot Kennedy, that was kind of like a message,
Yeah, I would say the Kennedys did a nice job to revive the Democrats after Eisenhower.
Right. Well, they were trying, but then, they messed with the wrong guys. That was the problem.
You mean Momo?
They messed with the wrong guys.
Like Momo.
Right.
You know who Momo is?
I know Hideo Nomo.
Sammy Giancana, that was his nickname.
Won't see him, Nomo. Right.
By the way, I sent you a headline from the Sun Sentinel.
I saw that, man. You're obsessive, boy. See, I'm the one that takes all the crap, and in the meantime, all the rest of you guys, you hide under my blanket, under my dress.
You get it.
Oh, yeah, I get it all right. I get all the grief and the crap, and you're the guys like sending all the venom, or the ventum, like that guy said.
Ventum?
Yeah, we got a thing where the guy talks about the ventum that I'm spewing on there. Some illiterate jackass out there. One of many.
There's a few of those.
Probably knows Tom Jicha. Hey, by the way, Tom, it just dawned on me. I was sitting on the throne this morning. It dawned on me that word for word, that thing he had in the Q&A on the TV book Sunday, word for word was one that was in there about a year ago, the bottom line is Tom doesn't like my show. And you know what? I really don't care. That's fine, Tom. I don't like your column either because you don't write about anything local, nothing whatsoever. Today he's got 2 columns, 2 puff pieces about TV shows, network TV shows, that would make just about as much sense in Manhasset or in Peoria or any place else as they do in South Florida. There's nothing that he writes that anything local. Nothing. And he wrote a couple of years ago about how I'm out of touch with the area, with the market, because I'm not sitting my fat ass down there. You're the one that's out of touch, Tom. Get with it. He's just lazy. He's like most people in South Florida. He's just lazy. He's just going through the motions. He works for a horseball newspaper, and he's just lazy.
I like that paper better than I like...
Tom Jicha from the Miami News from the dog racing days.
I like that paper better than I like the Herald.
The News?
Yeah.
Oh, the News was a good
No,
the
Sun Sentinel, I think.
You like anything better than the Herald, that goes without saying. But the News was a good paper.
Did you see about where Jim DeFede was, that no charges are going to be filed against him? Don't you think the Herald should just bite the bullet and bring him back?
No.
Why not?
That would be out of character for them.
Forget about what's in character.
Well, I'm just saying.
What's the right thing to do?
They never should have canned him in the first place. They should have stood behind him, okay?
Yep.
They should have stood behind him. Like newspapers don't do unethical things. Right?
Well,
This is the same newspaper that had Tom Fiedler running around in his yellow trench coat chasing Gary Hart and Donna Rice, and they're writing about ethics and about it's against the law. Oh, cut the crap.
Well, there are some managements that don't stand behind their people when they have a story.
That's for damn sure. Not to mention any names.
Of course not.
Pat Valenzuela. Hank Goldberg is the Patrick Valenzuela of broadcasting, ladies and gentlemen. Make no mistake about it.
I've served a lot of days.
If he farts the wrong flavor, man, automatic suspension. It's in his contract. He gets joiced. Wow. That'd be a good poll question. Would you rather get juiced or joiced? Last Raffy part. See, he's getting choked up about it. We'll ask Raffy about that. We'll see what Eliana Grosana I noticed she's pretty quiet lately about all her heroes there, you know.
Yeah, Jose
all her
Canseco.
no-speak English heroes, Raffy and Jose and all this other crap. You know what? Thinking about that, about those ridiculous hearings on steroids, it's the same thing as what I watched yesterday afternoon, which I have no idea why I watched it. And these stupid hearings, these confirmation hearings on John Roberts.
Yeah.
Why is it necessary for the members of the Senate Judiciary Committee to make opening statements? Well, what's other than to just sit there like a bunch of pompous asses and pontificate? Who cares about all these opinions, okay? Supposedly, they're there
Some
for the
of the finest people in the history of this country have been Italian Americans.
Yeah, right. Exactly. By the way, what happened to that guy? He didn't even know her name. Now, let's see. That was Godfather 2.
Yes.
Godfather 2. That had its moments. I didn't like it as much as 1. Everybody touts Godfather 2 as being the better one, but I don't think so.
No, because it didn't have the Godfather in it.
It didn't have Marlon Brando, right, with all that cotton in his cheek.
But that was the best. They had much better characters in the first one.
Oh, yes.
Except for Hyman Roth.
Well, his acting was a little, Lee Strasberg.
There's a guy
he
was great.
You thought he was great in that movie?
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't as good as Eli Wallach when he ate the cannoli.
No.
That's right. That was Godfather 3.
That was Godfather 3.
That was the worst
acting.
That was the worst. Man. Oh, brother.
But, you look at the characters.
We could reason together, Michael. When that scene when they get hit in Atlantic City in a casino,
Oh, yeah.
And the chandelier starts shaking and you hear the choppers overhead. That scene, his acting in that scene is so embarrassingly bad.
And he used to be a great actor.
Eli Wallach, is he still alive? I think he just
is.
he's still alive?
He was a great actor at one time.
Well, it must have been a hell of a lot before I was born.
It was
Jesus, God, that performance there. He made Sofia Coppola look good.
Oh, it was horrible.
Dad! Oop. Like I said, if they would have killed that bitch in the beginning of the movie, it would have improved by 1,000,000 times. And then George Hamilton, he sure fit in with that family, didn't he? What the hell was he doing in there?
Who cast that movie, anyway?
Somebody really desperate, I guess. It was low budget. You would think with all the budget cuts they made, they could afford to have brought in Robert Duvall back.
I didn't like Andy Garcia in it either.
No, and I don't like him at all in anything. He just leaves me limp. Especially when he was standing out there in front of Elianito's adopted family house there in Little Havana. That he just left me. Him and what's her name there?
That was a reality show.
Him and the what's her name, the singer, Gloria, the supposed singer Gloria Estefan.
Yes.
Putting on a big dog and pony show there for all the old green tooth crowd. Oh, Elian, get the hell out of here. Go back and make some other crap movie, okay, and cut the crap. These people that take themselves so seriously, It's one thing about me, I realize it's all a pile of crap. Just give me the money. Just let me go to Woodbine and lose my ass, and that's it. No, seriously, that's all. Just let me go and enjoy it. Let's face it, this station, we're a bunch of doddering old Jews here. How many days have we got left? We're counting them on the fingers of one hand. Let's enjoy them while we can.
I'm with that.
Not put up with a lot of crap. That's right. That's why I'm just ignoring that piece of turd. Life is too short to let anybody just pee on your parade, Sun is shining. It's going to be like, got a heat wave here. It's going to be like almost 90 today.
Up there?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's going to stop Thursday. It'll be back like in the mid-70s again. But
pretty hot
nice.
Here, too.
Yeah, but humid.
Yes.
And I heard it rained like crazy a couple days ago again, like the end of the world.
I thought it was. I'm
not kidding. Hurricanes
they had tornadoes outside.
Yeah.
And trees are
right.
flying all over the place.
Yeah. A lot of good reasons not to be there, I'll tell you. That's why I got the life.
I'm thinking about the West.
Yeah.
I like the West.
Like West Broward?
No, West.
San Diego.
Oh, I love that area.
Now, let me ask you, Fairplex, I don't want to get into horse racing because that'll be the end of my audience, but Fairplex, where is that?
That's south of Los Angeles.
See, I don't understand the racing schedule out there. I've been to Hollywood Park. I haven't been to the other ones.
It's a fair circuit. It's a real small track, like a bull ring type thing.
Because I noticed that most of the jockeys that ride there at Fairplex aren't the same ones. Trevor Denman calls the races there, but it's not. It's like a different group of
just
jockeys riding.
Just a couple of guys are there. Martin Pedrosa is always the leading jockey there.
I see David Cohn is there. Now, did you ever figure out who he was? Remember?
He was the producer Eddie Kaplan hated.
No, seriously, come on.
There used to be a producer here named David Cohn.
Yeah. And then his brother Marty Cohn.
Eddie couldn't stand him. You know why? This is a great story.
Yeah.
They're doing a remote from
Probably
Flagler.
He was Jewish.
They're doing a remote from Flagler Dog Track one night, and they went partners, Eddie and Tree, and Cohen didn't get in. And he rooted against him when the race was going on, and Eddie never spoke to him again and had him taken off his show.
You know something? That's like that old saying, it's not important that you win, but that your friends lose. Don't you hate people like that? I can't stand that.
Yeah.
People that root against you, you know?
Yep.
Hate that.
Well, I'm rooting for you.
Yeah.
Have a good day at Woodbine.
Huh? No, I'm not on that schedule anymore.
Oh, you're not?
Well, now that I'm back to my 5 days, when the hell have I got time to go to Woodbine? Only Saturday morning, once a week. That's enough. I can lose plenty just Saturday.
That's what I'm down to now.
That's
one
part
day
of my
a week.
anti-religion campaign is to go on Shabbos. A cabbie picks me up 5:30 in the morning, 5:15. He keeps coming earlier every week. Pretty soon I'm going to have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Picks me up, 25 minutes, we're out there, bada bing. I walk in, there's almost, it's such a great feeling to walk into a casino and there's almost nobody there. Well, of course, in your case, it doesn't make any difference because you play, table games or you're... And I know what I wanted to tell you. Fallsview in Niagara Falls, I take back what I said. I told you don't ever go there.
Yeah.
They're opening, and maybe it's already open, the biggest sports book in North America.
They can't have a sports book.
I beg your pardon?
Sports betting is illegal everywhere but Nevada.
No, it is not.
Yes, it is.
Not here.
I'm talking about the United States.
Niagara Falls, Ontario.
Oh, on the Canadian side.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What do you think? I just made that up?
Well, you said Niagara Falls. I was thinking.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about
you better
Canada.
stop with that American thinking, man.
Yeah,
Niagara Falls. Have you ever been to Niagara Falls, New York?
Yes.
Come on, let's get serious. They
Yes,
have
I have.
They have an Indian casino there.
I had dinner one night with Rick Weaver and Henry Barrow overlooking the falls. It was so romantic.
I had dinner with Rick Weaver and his wife one time, with Bill Calder and his wife, and all Rick talked about was Rick. Bop, 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 bop. And he smelled bad then, too. He was great, though, I'll tell you that.
He was the voice.
He was no Jimmy Syphilis, but he was a great broadcaster. Remember the white hankies, the white towels, whatever the hell it was?
Sure.
Yeah.
He made sure you knew that he was the voice.
Yeah. He was very nice to me. I mean, we worked
nice to me,
together for a while. He was always very nice to me. I had no problem with
He
Rick.
treated me fine.
Yeah. I mean, there were a lot of people that hated his ego and stuff like that. But
I worked with him for 15 years.
Yeah.
And the only thing he ever said to me was, "Stop talking when they break the huddle."
Yeah.
That was it. That was his
I'm
only
going
rule.
to tell you something. This epidemic of these color announcers just doing a whole game like that Buck Martinez did to Boog the other day, these people need to be bitch slapped. I'm getting tired of it. These guys are legends in their own minds. Bop, 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 like Denise Potvin on the Panther games, man. Stuff a towel in his big, fat French-Canadian mouth. Oh, God. Of course, he'd probably eat it.
They open camp, next week, I think?
This weekend, baby. First Leafs exhibition game this Sunday, the 18th. And all the Leafs exhibition games will be on Leafs TV. Eat your hearts out, you people. You don't have no Leafs TV. I got it. And the Panthers, I'm going to tell you, Panthers are going to be good this year.
Yeah, they got a lot of good guys.
I'm serious. You look at their lineup. One of the local papers here had all the lineups for all the teams in the league the other day. And I'm looking at their roster, man, and they got very few of these people that nobody ever heard of before. They have like a lot of really top players. Plus the youngsters in the organization, Horton and Bowmister and Stevie Weiss. They're coming along. They're going to be a damn good team. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised they win their division this year because they're in that awful division.
They have enough scoring?
Yeah. You got Gary Roberts now and Nieuwendyk and Horton. And, in fact, I think they're bringing back Tim Horton to bring the donuts for the team.
I was told they could use one more good scorer.
No. I think they're going to be just fine.
Okay.
The only problem they've got is that with this new schedule where you play the teams in your own division 80 million times, they're in the worst division, as far as draw against Washington and Atlanta and Carolina. Oh, nothing could be finer than to eliminate Carolina. God. No, seriously. There is no reason. Hockey is never going to make it in Carolina. They can build an arena on every street corner. It's not going to make it there. It's like selling halava to the Eskimos. It's not going to work.
Is it going to make it here?
Well, if the people... I'm telling you, I got to hand it. You know what a hard-ass I am about that stuff. But I think Keenan and Jacques the Frog, I think they're put together a good team there this year. So, it just depends on whether the people respond or not.
The owner just turns it all over to Keenan. He doesn't step in at all.
That's the first smart move he ever made, Alan Cohen. It's about time, Alan, he turned over to somebody who understands the game, because Keenan made a lot of good moves. Jelena and Gratton and Nieuwendyk and Roberts, they made tremendous acquisitions in the offseason. The only thing they did bad was pissing off Roberto Luongo. That was not a good move, but nevertheless, they're cheap,
He'll be fine.
He'll be okay. Those Italian hot-tempered guys. Well, listen.
I'll tell you something. The Italians have contributed a lot to this country.
Well, guess what? Okay, we're already past our first break. Have a great day.
See ya.
Bye.
When I started losing my hair, I lost my confidence, too. I tried Rogaine, but it didn't do a thing for me. When Rogaine doesn't work, try Mogaine. New Mogaine is scientifically proven to grow you a full, thick helmet of hair, just like Mo from the Three Stooges. After using Mogaine for just 3 weeks, my hair grew in as thick as Mo's. More important, I got my confidence back, too. Now I'm more assertive. Try new Mogaine today. Hey, shut up, you lame brain. I was talking. What did you say? I said can it, knucklehead. Oh, my eyes. Why, I ought to... You ought to what? I ought to be more careful. Oh, wise guy, huh? See that? Well, take that.
Mogaine, specially formulated for people who look like Curly.
10:15 at 560 WGN. That was a great crossover this morning. We could have kept going for another hour or two, you know?
Should have.
Probably should have. Except we got the breaks. I always like starting the show going right into a break, especially when it's a good segue from Mogaine into Chuck Alfieri. Isn't that brilliant?
Perfect.
Just an accident. I'll take credit for it.
Drudge packing? Good morning, Americans. It's Paul Harvey. Stand by for news. Jack decides to go skiing with his buddy Bob. They load up Jack's station wagon and head north. After driving a few hours, they get caught in a terrible blizzard. They pull into a nearby farmhouse and ask the attractive lady of the house if they can spend the night. Well, I'm recently widowed, she explains, and I'm afraid the neighbors would talk if I let you stay in the house. Not to worry, Jack says, we'll be happy to sleep in the barn. Well, 9 months later, Jack gets a letter from the widow's attorney. He calls his friend Bob and says, do you remember that good-looking widow at the farm we stayed at? Well, yes, I do. Well, did you happen to get up in the middle of the night, go into the house, and make love to her? Yes, I have to admit I did. Well, did you happen to use my name instead of telling her your name? Bob's face turns red and he says, yes, I'm afraid I did. To which Jack says, well, thanks a lot, pal. Jack says, she just died and left me her farm. Paul Harvey.
Good day.
Good day.
It's 20 past 10. That's kind of cute.
Yeah.
Not hysterical, but kind of cute. We can't be hysterical anymore, little Tommy, because we get joiced all the time. 1,208 votes on the poll yesterday. It's not too shabby. I'm a little flabby, but the result wasn't too shabby. Other than your president, the most pathetic right-wing Ashcroft he was on all over the place yesterday. That's a very objective guy to have on there commentating on John Robertson on these confirmation hearings, is John Ashcroft.
With a lot of makeup on it.
Who is, a lot of pancake makeup. Well, he wants to look as pasty as the dead guy he lost to in Missouri for the Senate.
I want to wear some waffle makeup.
The most pathetic right-wing goofball is Rush Limbaugh 301. Was there ever any doubt? You pill-popping hypocritical. Although Tommy likes his show a lot, I'm sure. And Rush doesn't read a whole lot of newspaper articles, although once in a while I understand he does, which that's bad. You better cut it out. Tom's going to start ripping your ass, okay? Pat Robertson, 171. When in doubt, let's take him out. Hey, Pat, you've had it. Dick Cheney, 167. Look at that. Dick Cheney was right on Pat Robertson's ass. Ann Coulter, 96. Bill O'Reilly, 79. Sean Hannity, 77. Condoleezza, 47. Oh, please, Condoleezza, just go away. Just walk away. Don Herman Gehring Rumsfeld, 41. Now, see, Herman Gehring at least he had kind of like a different, more imposing presence.
Did he? Which was the one that liked to dress up like a chick?
Oh, I don't know about that, but Herman Gehring was the big fat one.
Right. I think that was him then.
Was he like to dress up?
Like toenail
like
polish.
Edgar Hoover.
Yeah, women's underwear.
Bill Fisk, 36. John Ashcroft, 33. Michael Savage, 27. Steve Kane, 20, which I'm surprised that many people know who that is. Pat Buchanan, 18. Chuck Heston, 16, who used to be a great phony actor. Was he ever in a good movie, Charlton Heston? He was in all those. He was Moses and he was Abraham.
You didn't like Ben-Hur? Ben-Hur was great.
Really?
Yeah.
I like Ben-Him a lot better.
You don't like those Roman movies.
I like Rome. Robert Novak, 11. Arnold's 11. You know, Arnold that's going to have the conduct those hearings after he gets elected on his sexual harassment charges. And then he said, I don't think I'm going to do that after all. Arnold, 11. Paul Wolfowitz, 11. Miss Drudge got 11, Miss Fudges. She's starting to move up in the world. You self-hating fag, you phony baloney. You sellout. Trent Lott, 8. Jesse Helms, 8. Ronald Reagan, 6. Joe Scarborough, who's as boring as vanilla ice cream, 6. Richard Pearl, 4, and that's because not enough people know who that is. And John Wayne, the Duke finally had 3. How do you like that? Rock Hudson thought he had a pair, but the Duke really had 3, which is probably... You remember I told you that story? It was a true story about he had like 80 pounds of excrement in his body at the time he died. He was like, impacted, the Duke. No, seriously. Well, there were a lot of guys in Hollywood thought he was full of it, and I guess they were right. Now, here's the poll today, and I know George says we've done this before. I don't care whether we've done it before. I like it.
Of course. Let's do them all again.
I think we're going to do them all again. The worst TV show. Now, what inspired me for this? We were talking about Dukes of Hazzard yesterday. God, that was a horrible show. And the only problem is that's what America's all about right now, the Deep South, you know, like from Ohio South. People think the Deep South is Louisiana and Mississippi and the Gulf Coast that just got battered and stuff like that. The Deep South is anywhere south of, I would say,
Canada,
Ohio, northern Indiana, Pennsylvania. I'm trying to draw a line across, you know?
it's just getting deeper, the South.
No, it's just getting further north is what it
That's what I
is.
mean.
Worst TV show of all time. So we got a starter list that I put together here, and I'm sure you can add to it, knowing the creative minds you got. Plus the fact it's so easy. Oh, there's the Roberts confirmation hearings.
Won't find under a...
Hey, Pat, go F yourself. There's Pat Leahy from Vermont. The worst TV show is Anna Nicole Show. Now, how did that just happen?
Fast.
Did you see that?
She moves fast for a fat. Well,
No, seriously. Growing Up Gotti, Throwing Up Gotti was number one all more, which I don't really care. They're both horrible shows. But Anna Nicole Show 46, Throwing Up Gotti's got
About 30, man.
Yeah. That show. I think the Italian Defamation League ought to have that show taken off the air.
I think the deal is a lot more people saw the Anna Nicole show than the
Throwing Up Gotti
because of the channels that it's on and because of the hype surrounding the Anna Nicole show.
And I still want to know how come an otherwise outstanding channel like A&E has got a piece of turd like Throwing Up Gotti on
They
it.
got to make money too. Although I don't know how that does it.
Well, if that's how they do it, what does that say? Rosie O'Donnell Show, what a talent, 20. Hee Haw 16, Cop Rock 15, Jerry Springer 15. Yesterday I'm channel surfing and Jerry Springer had on midgets.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Black midget?
Yeah, black midgets.
I saw it flipping, right.
Fear Factor 12, Oprah 10, American Idol 10, Dukes of Hazzard 8. That John Schneider sure was pretty, and the show was pretty awful. The View 7, The Brady Bunch Hour, not to be confused with The Brady Bunch, 5, Full House 4, Laverne and Squirrely 4, Schlemiel, Schlemazel. I still can't get over the fact that they're, you know, what do you think the people in Dubuque, Iowa, were when that show came on the network and had the opening theme and they're singing Schlemiel, Schlemazel? What do you think they're thinking? Those damn Jews.
Oh, please. Nobody knows what that means.
The Nanny 4, speaking of Jews, Nanny 4, My Mother the Car 3, Green Acres 3, Everybody Loves Raymond 2. Now, is that Raymond Burr? Because he was gay. Extreme Makeover 2, Punky Brewster had a pair, Golden Girls 2, Newlywed Game 1 with that unctuous Bob Eubanks. Boy, did I hate him like poison with that stiff neck. Like he was wearing like he had a starched neck. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Something strange about him. CSI 1, Maude 1, Blind Date 1, Baywatch 1, although that's the most watched TV show in the world. I've told you that a million times. It's true, well, especially in Germany. They love David Hasselhoff in Germany. They think he's German. That's because he is. And none yet for Magnum P.U. Boy, that's a bad show. Will and Grace. I still think Tom Selleck is gay, but nevertheless, I think he and Higgins might have been doing it. Rugrats, none. Matlock, none. That's Andy Griffith for those who, Home Improvement, none. Married with Children, none. And Hee Haw, Honey's, none. What about Barnaby Jones? Great theme, terrible show.
Hey, ain't going to do nothing on this list.
Even though Barnaby Jones gets his man. That's what Bill Ross used to say on Channel 7. Bill Ross, the weatherman?
Right. And then
as opposed to Wayne Chandler, the weatherman, who was your favorite? Mm-hmm. 27 after 10. Those were the days, baby. We had some interesting personalities on local TV. Now you just got a bunch of revolving faces, and other than Dwight Fort Lauderdale, nobody even knows who, and Tony Cigaretto, nobody knows who any of those people are anymore. You know what? Mm-hmm. Every time I come back to town, you turn on your TV, and who the hell are these people? I mean, just a bunch of non-entities.
My junior, honey.
Ring-a-ding-ding-ding-ding-ding-ding-ding-ding-ding-ding-ding-ding-ding-ding-ding. Hi-ho, Kermit the Frog here. Ding, ding. Kermit. Let's do the Kermit Frog. Yay! Kermit. Frog. Bam, bam. It's not easy being green. It's not easy. Hi-ho. It's not easy being green. It's not easy. Hi-ho. And fun when you're having flies. And fun when you're hi-ho. And fun when you're having flies. Let's do the Kermit Frog. Yay! Dum 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 dum. Kermit, dum 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 dum. Let's do the Kermit Frog, yeah!
Okay, so which one do you like better, do the Kermit Frog or a Mogane?
Oh, the Kermit. Where the hell did that come from?
You don't have that?
No.
That's kind of cute.
What's it from? Which soybean?
It's from somewhere. I guess it's from ACN. I don't know. What the hell do I know?
All right.
Let me take a look. You really care where it's from?
Well, I have children.
I see. It's from, it's the first bit on ACN, number 301. This number 301, for those of you keeping track out there, keeping score, write it down, mark it down.
You get that.
Okay, let's get some more bad TV shows for the list here. What do you say, huh? Got to give them some kind of an assignment, something to do while I got my huge pile here again. I don't want to get Tommy upset or Miguel. It's really, everything's been going just fine on this show. Things are going along swimmingly well, and the checks are actually showing up on time once in a while now, and ratings are big and gigantic and juicy and stuff like that. And always got to be a few malcontents. Because that's the South Florida effing way. 567. Now, if that guy on line 9, whoever the hell that is, thinks I'm going to take that call first, he's probably right. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Hey, Niagara Falls, New York, awful. Why they can't do on this side? I live in Rochester, so I don't live far away from there.
You live in Rochester?
Yeah, not far from Batavia, actually.
I'll be damned.
That's right.
Well, what do you mean? You're telling me where Rochester is? Like I was born in Rochester, sir, at Strong Memorial Hospital.
You want a white hot or a red hot?
I said, bring back Don and Bob's. I'll come back.
Hey.
I went to school at Brighton Elementary, right next to Don and Bob's, sir. Not that anybody in this audience cares, but then again, they're insensitive.
Well, then you would know where Chili is.
Sure.
Not far from
Henrietta? Rush?
Yeah, not far from Gates, which is Guineaville.
Yeah.
Hey, listen.
Watch your language now, man.
I'm sorry. Hey,
don't be picking on them guineas. They're going to come and make you into an old guinea.
Hey, Neil, have you been on that the ferry that goes across the lake?
No. The one that keeps breaking down? No.
Yes. Okay. I didn't know if
I've seen a bunch of other ferries, but that's because I'm in Toronto.
Well, that's the biggest thing since sliced bread over here, and nobody.
Well, I would imagine so. Anybody in Rochester would want to get the hell out of the city and come to Toronto, to come to a real city.
Hey, they finally put machines in Batavia.
They put the slots in?
Yeah. They put
See,
some
there
money
you
in
go.
there.
There's the lesson for all you people. You want to save the pari-mutuels, you got to have the slots.
And here on the local cable, they have where you can set up an OTV account right through Batavia, right off.
There you go. You can lose your ass sitting right on your fat ass at home. Excellent. Okay, well, listen, say hi to Buddy Bomar and Buddy Gilmore and all the others, and have a great life. Here's a guy from Rochester. How do you like that? It used to be a hell of a city. The Flower City with the lilacs and Durant Eastman Park and Cobbs Hill. Now, he's listening online, obviously. He's in Rochester.
Yeah.
And Tom Jicha would say, well, that's because you're from Rochester and nobody else would listen to your show online. Well, I got news for you. You know, if you look at the domain report on our website every day, George, on that stats page, we got people listening in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And we sure as hell hope that's American soldiers or something over there, not the,
I'm sure it is.
Not the Saudis. Not the royal family that we're always ripping an ass and that we ought to invade there and, hook up a big cube. Take their damn oil. The obnoxious, unctuous Saudis, the greatest breeders of terrorism and fanaticism anywhere in the world. A bunch of grave robbers.
But they are snappy dressers.
No, I love their outfits, man. Especially those mood rings. WQAM, hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
What about any show on MTV?
Well, pick one.
How about Punk'd?
Okay. Punk'd. There you go. And what about Jackass?
So, okay, this is the history. Yeah, we can put Jackass on there.
What?
I thought it was over, but I guess it doesn't matter.
The worst TV show of all time is... That's the poll question, Mr. Hotshot.
Hey, Jackass is an inspiration to teenage boys all over the world.
To go out and do stupid things and break their neck and break somebody else's neck. Right. It's a show for morons. Kind of like this show. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil, how's it going?
Pretty good, Pally.
Got one for the poll.
Excellent.
How about, I don't remember the name, but it was this stupid show with Ted Knight back in the day. He had a hand puppet, and he was like a cartoonist. Do you remember it?
Ted Knight had a hand puppet?
Yeah, he was a cartoonist, he worked out of his house.
I'll be damned. Well, we'll have to Google it.
Is that
we'll
the
Google
one with
it.
the gay guy in it, with Jim J. Bullock?
Well, Google it. Oh, Jim J. Bullock. Oh, man. Hey, Jim J.
You fairy.
She just gives me spilkies. He reminds me of Alice Rantel, Jim J. Bullock.
Gee, why?
In fact, who do you like better, Jim J. Bullock or Sandra Bullock? No contest.
No.
I like her a lot. She's good. I don't care what anybody says. So she may not be like the heavy-duty, serious actress. She can do anything well. Let me say it again. Do not watch the movie Garden State. I warned you yesterday. 4 stars, highly touted. Biggest piece of turd I've wasted 2 hours watching in my life. Just garbage. Swill. Even though, what's her name was very good in it. Natalie Portman.
Right.
She's good. You don't like Natalie Portman?
I like her. Serve her right up. Are you kidding?
Yeah, no, I don't mean that. I mean, but she was very good. She did a good job acting in the movie. Unfortunately, the big hotshot, Zach Braff, he was pretty weak, lame. He kind of reminded just like one step up from Adam Sandler. WQAM, hello. Or maybe one step down. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Neil, I'd just like to say to everyone out there that Phil Henry is the biggest backstabber ever.
Yeah.
Phil Henry, he needs to be bitch slapped.
Are you sure?
I guess so.
Why'd you dump it? He just said
well,
slapped.
that to me sounds like kind of a stab in the back, if you ask me.
This is Neil Rogers.
Oh! Let me tell you about a guy, a Nazi on the Uber right. Moves on the Christian mission to track. Christian right away.
Rectum.
Constitution he wants to raise, and a Christian aspiration it's made. A stupid looking pasty face gets straight. Christian, he rights away.
Rectum.
Christian owns the largest hospital chain. Christian, yeah, Christian, he rights away. Hey, Bush! Two-step! Shoot a judge! Hug the fetus! Push a strike! Living savior! Final solution! Yeah, Crispin rides away. An ethical millionaire's not inheriting all that he's got. Like Mangala, he's a dot, and Crispin rides away. Mule banging neocons keep the television on until the privacy and rights are gone. While the Christian rides away. Oh, Christian, certifiably insane. Christian, yeah, Christian rides away. Let's bring the line.
Rectum.
Brownie, you're doing a hell of a job, by the way. It's 14 before 11 at 560 WQAM. In fact, wasn't it with Phil? I was always talking about that Brownie hound, wasn't he?
Was he?
Ted Knight show with the puppets was too close for comfort.
Yeah.
Let's put that on there right away.
We did. I knew that.
His
by the
two
way.
daughters were hot and had huge hooters.
No.
By the way,
one of
George
them
Bush
did.
doesn't care about black people. I think the guy Rick Sanchez ran over still that says the facts, okay? A little old and ponderous, but thanks for the info on the show. You already knew that?
Yeah, and only one of the girls had big hooters. The other one was flat as a board.
What about Ted Knight? Here's a fax that's about, how do you like that, from Channel 10's website. Miami Heat Center wants to be a crime fighter. Shack attack leads to man's arrest in Miami Beach. Nice going. Shaquille O'Neal is being called a hero not for his skills on the basketball court, but for his skills fighting crime. Miami Beach police said the Heat Center heard one man verbally attack another for being gay around 3 a.m. Sunday while in the 300 block of Washington Avenue. The suspect, later identified as Michael Gonzalez, then threw a beer bottle at the victim, hitting him in the back. Gonzalez fled in a silver Honda and drove toward Palm Island. The Diesel contacted an off-duty police officer at Palm Island, provided a description of the vehicle and the suspect. The officer questioned Gonzalez and arrested him on suspicion of assault with a deadly weapon and aggravated battery. How do you like that? O'Neal said, that's Shaq. He's interested in becoming a police officer when he retires from the NBA. The 7'1" player is currently training to become a reserve police officer for Miami Beach. Already completed a training program with the U.S. Marshal's Office in Virginia. There's the kind of cops we need. A big, imposing guy like... All right. Him.
The long arm of the law there.
That's right. The big head of the law. 5670560. Let's get a list of about 300-400 here. Then I can go on with my big pile here and get Tom Jicha really aggravated and upset. And Miguel. And anybody else out there with an IQ the size of their thumb. 5670560, pound 560 in the Verizon Singular Wireless line. Here's our award-winning QAM lineup today. We got the Mo-Meister at 2. A little of that Mo game couldn't hurt. Mad Dog at 4. Hurricane Hotline at 7. Anybody care about that?
No.
Marlins on deck at 7:30. Then the Marlins, that Dontrell man, he is a god. He's the best.
Yes, he is.
He's just unbelievable. Plus hit a home run last night to top it all off. A little icing on the cake. 8-2 win over the Astros last night. The Marlins right now with a slim, is it a half game?
That's right.
Half game lead in the wild card race, and of course Philly won again. They beat Atlanta last night, so you got a tremendous three-way race. I think it's between the Marlins and Philly, to be honest with you, because Houston seems to be going into a coma. They couldn't score in a fixed game. It just they can't score any runs. Anyway, the Marlins at the Astros 8 o'clock tonight, big game, and then Eddie K after the ball game. WQAM, hello.
The Golden Girls.
Oh God, that's a good one. It's already on there though. It sounded familiar.
Yes,
it should have been called the Olden Girls, not the Golden Girls. Good God Almighty.
Matlock for chicks.
Yeah, there you go. Kind of like this station. WQAM, hello. QAM.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing, Neil? I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
I wanted to, a memo to the Miami Police Department, don't have Shaq doing any undercover work. But I wanted to thank you and George for that suggestion on Irreversible. What a profound movie that was.
Not me. That was George. I haven't seen it.
You got to see that movie. I mean, it's just
I'm afraid.
Really well done. Hard to watch. Hey, do you think the Panthers got a great deal on who's the forward they just signed for like $2.5 million? Their main player. I'm drawing a blank.
Ole Jokinen.
Jokinen. I mean, they stole him for that amount, didn't they?
Yeah, I think so. Well, we'll see which Jokinen shows up. He played great a couple seasons ago, and then the season after that he was like lost, kind of landed a loss.
Well, that's a good point, but I mean he's vastly underpaid. I mean when you look at some of the forwards with the Bruins just signing for $5 and $6
I think
million.
that Luongo is vastly underpaid too, but they took the shot with arbitration and he lost. He's getting $3.2 million. He's worth a lot more than that.
I couldn't agree with you more, and he'll be gone after this year too.
Yeah, I tell you that's going to be a hell of a team though this year. I think the Panthers are going to win the division.
Can't wait to see some games. Glad hockey's back.
Okay,
thanks,
Pally.
Neil.
Okay, thanks for killing my audience. Just a joke. He was a little hockey intensive there. Let's do some hockey talk. We got the exhibitionist season starting pretty soon.
Now it's going to come free, and it's Brendan Bell with a little giddy up through.
There you go. There's the baby Leafs. Now they're the Toronto Marlies this year. They're moving from St. John. I know George is upset about that because he was going to go up to St. John and see some baby Leafs games.
I cried for an hour.
WQAM, hello.
All right, listen to you.
Okay, good. WQAM, hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Regarding the Ole Jokinen.
Okay. WQAM, hello.
Neil, how are you this morning?
Pretty good.
Good to have you back full time.
Yes, it is.
Couple of poll suggestions, or for future polls, I should say, to try and help you out. I know you're struggling with the 5-day. It's going to be a lot of pressure.
Oh, please.
I call these the angry polls. I brought this up to George. I'm not sure if he did it or not. But what angers you most about other drivers? And
things like that.
What callers anger you the most? Like, for example, I get really upset and tired of hearing people, is this Neil? Can I speak to Neil?
Yeah. We've only been doing the screenless for about 100 years now. You'd think that if they listen to the show more than 5 minutes, they'd catch on to that?
But that classic yesterday with the Gardner calling in that toll-free.
That was good. That was a great return to the full. It almost made it worthwhile coming back. Thanks a lot, Pally.
Yes, sir.
Have a great day. And that was good. If you missed that call, man, your life ain't worth a dime. Bell South, that was beautiful. Nice job. I bet you he worked his ass off on that, you know what?
That was promo worthy. Right.
Did they make the promo?
Yeah, they'll get to hear that over and over again.
The promo for the homo? At least two major corporate clients of lobbyist Joe Albaugh, President Bush's former campaign manager and former head of the FEMA, have already been tapped to start recovery work along the battered Gulf Coast. One is Shaw Group, Inc., and the other is Halliburton Company subsidiary Kellogg Brown and Root. Remember Baby Root? Yeah. Vice President Dick Cheney, as we know, is former head of Halliburton. Boy, can you imagine how much graft he must be getting? Bechtel National Inc., a unit of San Francisco-based Bechtel Corporation, has also been selected by FEMA to provide short-term housing for people displaced by the hurricane. Bush named Bechtel CEO to his export council and put the former CEO of Bechtel Energy in charge of the Overseas Private Investment Corporation. Many of the same companies seeking contracts in the wake of the hurricane have already received billions of dollars for work in Iraq. It must be just a coincidence. Halliburton alone has earned more than $9 billion. Pentagon audits released by Democrats in June showed over $1 billion in questioned costs and $422 million in unsupported costs for the Halliburton work in Iraq. But the web of Bush administration connections is attracting renewed attention from watchdog groups in the post-Katrina reconstruction rush. Congress has already appropriated more than $60 billion in emergency funding as a down payment on recovery efforts projected to cost well over $100 billion. The government's got to stop stacking senior positions with people who are repeatedly cashing in on the public trust in order to further private commercial interests, said Danielle Bryan, Executive Director of the Project and Government Oversight. And my suggestion, Danielle, is take a deep breath and hold it, and hold it. We'll let you know when to exhale, okay? just the rape of the American public. Your tax dollars hard at work to screw you, man. They're sticking it to you. And thanks again for those bargain basement gas prices. They're saying now don't look for gas ever again under $2 a gallon, ever.
Right.
And now, of course, the average is over $3 a gallon. That's for regular, as opposed to irregular. There's Orrin Spatch.
A congressional statute.
Yeah, you better take that statute and cover it up. Get John Ashcroft busy, okay? Put a little covering over those boobies. Speaking of boobies, that's Orrin Hatch. Rhymes with catch and patch. Bush support eroding as Christians condemn Iraqi involvement. I had to put this on the top of my pile. I was so shocked by this. Are you amazed by that or what?
Yes, I am.
With increasing frequency, Christians are condemning U.S. military involvement in Iraq. How do you like that? They were a little slow on the uptake, and the growing unrest among Christians threatens to erode President Bush's most loyal base. Wow. We had no plan for making the peace. We continue as a superpower to be arrogant, and we have acted as though all is well when, in fact, daily we have reports of suicide bombings and more disruptions in Iraq, said the Reverend Bob Edgar, although he's General Secretary of the National Council of Churches, a coalition of mainline Protestant Orthodox denominations, and the National Council of Churches is always considered to be a bunch of commie pinkos.
That's right.
Just like with Hurricane Katrina, Bush doesn't want to hear people say it didn't go well, said Edgar, a Democrat who was president of Claremont School of Theology from 1990 to 2000. So some of the less malignant Christians are the ones that are saying, aha, you murdering bastard with all that blood on your hands, you bozo, you nitwit, you simpleton, you evildoer. But nevertheless, look at the beady eyes on that John Roberts, man. If he's got like only bigger eyes, but the same kind of beadiness as the new Nazi Pope.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
How can you not see that?
I wonder what kind of body wash the new Pope uses.
Jewish.
After he takes that holy crap. Former Miami fire chief replaces FEMA's beleaguered director. Downtown Mickey Brown, you're doing a hell of a job, Brownie Hound. They must have showed that clip how many times yesterday?
About 30,
over
man.
and over again. Nice going. They're finally catching on, okay? They're finally ripping an ass where it ought to be ripped. Faced with a torrent of criticism over faltering hurricane relief efforts, President Bush named a former Miami fire chief to replace Michael Brownie, who resigned yesterday as head of the FEMA. Totally unqualified. The International Arabian Horse Association, my ass. I mean, so this stuff is coming out, but it's just amazing to me the way they let this guy off the hook. This man had no qualifications, none. And they showed all these people, even as of yesterday, in Mississippi and all these towns, Gulfport and Biloxi, and they're like, where is FEMA? Where is FEMA? And they showed this one beleaguered guy who's assigned to, go check out 10,000 houses. Where is FEMA? After a stormy record of misplaced aid in Florida and slow response to disaster in the Mississippi Delta, Brownie stepped aside to try to spare Bush and FEMA the distractions of further political attack because he was absolutely and totally, just like the president, unqualified is what it is. And you people, just like Michael Moore said in that letter the other day, you people that voted for him, congratulations. Thank you so much, too.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
We need some action.
Well, congratulations. Get a life.
Coming up tonight on Inside the Behind the True Hollywood Celebrity Music Biography Profile Story. His beautiful, aching ballads define the beautiful, aching spirit of the lame-ass, wussy 80s. He was Richard Marx.
Wherever you go, whatever you do, I will be right here waiting for you.
Well, I've always had this need to sing. Before he broke through to his own ass-puckeringly maudlin solo career, Marx was a well-known backup singer with other pussified wimp sacks like Lionel Richie. Right. I'm one of the voices there that sounds like a girl.
Look, I knew I was riding a quick wave with Richard. There was only that brief period in the late 80s when women got all moist over breathy guys of questionable sexuality with feathered Farrah Fawcett hair.
Former Richard Marx manager, Slappy Gold.
But I don't think Richard ever got over it. It's sad, really. Every weeknight since the late 80s, he stood on a street corner in Hollywood hoping somebody might still care. Poor guy. He really is still right there waiting.
Wherever you go, my old audience, whatever you do, I will be right here waiting for you.
Hey, baby! You want some of this?
What? Are you a boy or a girl?
I was going to ask you the same question.
Richard Marx. Perhaps we've been unfair to him. So what's your point? It's a big, juicy, sopping wet look at show business tonight on Inside the Behind.
Hey, she was really great, that Richard Marx. In fact, it seems to me that back when the Zeta days that Richard Marx was in concert somewhere somewhere, that we were sponsoring it.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the Bird ran off with Richard Marx. The worst TV show of all time is Anna Nicole Show 64, Throwing Up Gotti 46, Fat, Rosie O'Donnell Show 33, Jerry Springer 25, Hee Haw 21, American Idol 19, Fear Factor 19, Oh, Let's Eat Some Worms, Cop Rock 17, Oprah 14, Dukes of Hazzard 11, The View 10, The Brady Bunch Hour 9, Full House 7, Laverne and Squirrely 5, Schlemiel Schlemazel, The Nanny 5, Schlemazel, My Mother the Car 5, Everybody Loves Raymond 4, Green Acres 4, Don't Get Porky Now, Beverly Hillbillies 3, Extreme Makeover 2, Punky Brewster 2, Golden Girls 2, Jackass 1, Punked 1, Newlywed Game 1 with Bob Eubanks and his stiff neck, CSI 1, Maude 1, Blind Date 1, Married with Chillin' 1, Baywatch 1, and none yet for Too Close for Comfort, Magnum PU, and a bunch of other ones like Will and Grace, Rugrats, Matlock, Home Improvement, and Hee Haw Honeys out of the first 225 votes. We got a shot at 400 votes today, Josh.
Yeah, we'll just have to push it.
A Blanche Ely high school student faced criminal charges and certain expulsion after a gun he brought to school discharge in class. He was playing with it, and it went off. It was just another algebra class in room 185 at Blanche Ely High yesterday morning around 10:35 when a gunshot rang out. Nobody was hurt when the bullet hit the floor and ricocheted into the wall and seen. Americans and their obsession with guns, it's like a sickness. It's like a national illness. It's like me and sugar and ice cream and candy. Saying it's an illness. The 15-year-old freshman, whom the Herald is not identifying because of his age, told detectives last night he was playing with a Glock 9mm handgun when it went off. Somebody should have told that kid sometimes when you play with it, it goes off. He says he found the gun in the field, said BSO spokesman Jim Leodol, who added detectives are investigating the claim.
Right.
Teen parents turned him in at 7:30 last night at BSO's Pompano Beach District office. After the gun went off, everybody spilled into the hallway, apparently thinking it was a firecracker, students and authorities said. One 15-year-old who said he was in the class said he first thought a ceiling tile or light had exploded. Students said they were stunned that a classmate had brought a gun to school. I was scared to leave class, said 17-year-old Nadej Ambroise, a junior. I didn't believe it. I was like, girl, please. Oh, girl, please. Of course, George don't ask, please. He just, you know what you do with kids that take guns to school?
Shoot them in the leg.
Well said.
With their own gun.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Just take say, listen, you might hurt somebody like this.
Shoot them in the leg.
Right, like this. See, that might have happened to somebody else. Kids bringing guns to school. Boy, oh boy. And see, the American public, some people might say they're resilient. I would say stupid, indifferent, callous, insensitive. No matter how much human suffering. That's why this tremendous outpouring with Katrina and everything else. How many more seconds do you think that's going to last?
About 30, man.
That's it. That's the end. All this crap about, the American... That business in Columbine, when you stop and think about it, and then, of course, we had that epidemic we had for a couple of years there. We had, about a half a dozen of those episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, to some people who might consider themselves civilized, you just wonder what that's all about. Well, I'm pissed off. I was, people made fun of me, so I'm going to blow a bunch of people away. See, the American people don't teach their kids, in spite of all this resurgence of religiosity in America, they don't teach their kids anything about respect for human life. And like I've always told you, a country where the value of human life is nil and non-existent can never be a great country. America once upon a time was a great country, but that's a long time ago. Kind of like back when Ozzie and Harriet were on. Speaking of great TV shows. My vote for the poll for the worst show ever from Vernon is Green Acres. It's already on there, Vernon. And all-time favorite to hate, Nightman. I have no idea. Superhero with corny powers and a corny sidekick. Nightman, you remember that show?
I saw a commercial for it once.
Oh.
I think they ran one episode of it.
Well, that was more than enough. He says Nightman. Get that on there right away. Of course, if there was only one episode, how many people saw it?
About 30, man.
5670560, pound 560 on the Verizon and Singular Wireless line. So far, Anna Nicole is pulled away from Throwing Up Gotti, and I think you're right, because Throwing Up Gotti is on A&E. Right. Not as many people have seen it. And you know what? If you haven't seen it, kiss the ground. Kiss your TV set. Kiss the cube. WQAM, hello.
Hey, how you doing, Neil?
Okay, Pally.
Listen, I got the ultimate answer to your poll today.
Yeah.
How about Survivor? That's the one that started all this reality bull crap.
Okay. Survivor anywhere. We can just make it generic. Survivor Geneva, Survivor Ishmael, Michigan.
No, Survivor started after the Super Bowl. Survivor started like 6 years ago. That's when they started all this crap.
That's what I just said.
Reality television.
I understand. You're just repeating yourself. Did I misunderstand what he said?
No, he did. He misunderstood what he said. Survivor,
okay, like I'm trying to say, it's like generic because we could put specific Survivor, like Survivor Canandaigua, Survivor Lockport, Let me say it again. Buffalo blows, okay? Although the Bills did win their game there. Who the hell did they play that they beat up the other day with that 10-year-old quarterback?
The Texans.
Oh, Houston. Well, that's like a little girls' team, okay?
Buffalo blows, and so do the Bills. Oh!
There you go. Nothing changes. WQAM, hello.
Uncle Neil.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Buenos dias.
You know, I was going to make a suggestion to Mo since he's back to being...
Okay, great. Well, you go ahead and do it. WQAM, hello.
Neil.
It's not that I'm just tired of that, okay? If you want to call him up, I have no room in my life for him no more. Yes, sir.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yesterday's promo, hilarious. The Gargler, pretty funny.
Yeah, he was good.
It's
about time to get something funny.
One for your poll there. Bill Tex out loud.
Out loud, yeah. But we're talking about a real TV show. You could put my whammy show on there, too, for that. We're talking about real TV shows, not make-believe. Thanks again, Marvin, for that great job there on that whammy show that we had no control over, and they butchered up and you couldn't hear the audio. That was great. That was really something. Talk about humiliating and degrading. That was just degrading.
Other than that.
How's that whammy doing, by the way? No spaghetti glaze last time I checked.
No more.
Yeah.
Won't hear that
no
no
more. See, there you go again with that Mo crap. WQAM, hello. QAM. Oh, this would be a shame to lose this call, wouldn't it? Because I know this is going to probably have the right answer. WQAM, hello.
I got the ball right here.
WQAM, hello.
Hey, good morning. Welcome back.
Thank you.
I know you weren't really gone, but...
I was around.
Nice to have you back full time. George does a good job, but there's nothing like
George
the old
was
man.
okay. He was okay. Not great. He was okay. Kind of fair.
That's fine.
He was
He
good.
never stole...
Kind of ran out of steam at the end there, but he was all right.
He never stole a freight train, but
Right.
let me tell you, compared to the rest of
kind of like knocked him down a few notches, but he's all right.
compared to the rest of the direct on that station, he's like Edward R. Murrow. Okay?
That's correct. He's like a combination of Walter Cronkite and Charles Lawton.
And Soupy Sales. No, I
Right, and Orson Welles.
Listen, I am so glad you broadcast that Michael Moore letter to a broader audience. I'm on his mailing list. I got it the other day.
See, I know this would come as a shock to idiots like Tom Jicha, but the reason I read a lot of these things on here is because most people aren't going to take the time to read them. They either don't have the time, or they're too lazy, or they're not interested. But if I sit here on my fat ass and I read them on the air, it might a little light might go off on their head or something, or wherever.
And in a society where the number one rated news channel is Fox, the fascist news channel, and the number one local news is Channel 7 News, which is nothing but a girls' school, frankly.
Right. That's correct.
I'm sorry, people need a dose of truth, okay?
I would say more like a gay club is what it is.
Well, I don't know, but it's amateur. I do. It's Mickey Rooney. Hey, kids, let's put on a news show.
Yeah.
In fact, I know this isn't a news survey you're doing, but you could put the old Channel 7 News with Rick and Sally. That might be the worst show of all time.
Yeah.
But anyway, hey, nice to have you back, and stay well.
And have a great life. Thank you. If the foo fits, fight it. Isn't that what Sally used to say? If the foo fits, something about it. I don't know. Well, Ricky always said that he and Sally were a good fit. Isn't that what he said?
He said they were tight, is what I heard.
Yeah, I doubt that. 12 minutes, I'll never forget that time she kind of like accosted me in front of IOD. Because Channel 7 was right next door. And I don't think we had ever met before. And she came over, waddling over, and like, oh, I'm Sally. Hi, Neil. Blah, 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 blah. And, that stuff you say about me, I really don't like it. And I said, well, you know what, Sally? I really don't care. That's exactly what I told her. I said, just a radio show, honey. And I said, watch out for that Coke bottle there.
Like you started that room.
Well, she had her own spot there in front of the station. She kind of had, like, squatters' rights. Robin Fort Myers says, Joni may have loved Chachi, but please put them both on your poll. Okay, Joni loves Chachi. Picking on my boy Scott Baio again. Now, who was he married to? I keep forgetting. He was married to...
I don't know.
Yeah, you do. The one from Knots Landing. Wasn't that him that was married to her?
I don't know.
Nicolette Sheridan.
Okay, that's the
one
from
that started Knots Landing. Huh?
But I don't know who she was married to besides
She's on that show now, dating...
Desperate Housewives.
Desperate Miguel. Oh, and speaking of... I have to tell you this, even though you don't watch Passions, I know that we got about 4 people out there who do. Only on Passions would you have a prosecuting attorney, a blonde bitch named Grace Nancier. Grace Nancier. Not that she's a takeoff on anybody, friend. It's you have to see it. It's just a hoot.
One of these days.
Ted Kennedy is ripping...
In the only documents that have been made available to us, it appears
that you did not fully appreciate the problem of discrimination in our society. It also seems that you are trying to undo the progress that so many people had fought for and died for in this country.
Let him have it, Ted. Stick it to him, baby. Oh! Ted Kennedy for dictator. Everybody gets laid. Everybody gets all the booze they want. Ted's my kind of guy, okay? A real pervert. Hey, when was the last time you really indulged yourself, speaking of that? Weeks ago? Months ago? Even longer? Dial a Mattress and Serta want you to indulge yourself every night with Serta's Perfect Night Mattress line. Right now, when you call 1-800-MATTRESS, you can save up to $900 off the Dial a Mattress factory direct prices. The Perfect Night features Serta's highest quill counts, finest quilting, and memory foam for the ultimate in comfort. The Serta sales for a limited time, and you're going to save on all sizes and comfort levels while supplies last. Dial 1-800-MATTRESS, and they still do that same delivery deal. They give you the 2-hour window that you pick, noon to 2, 1 to 3, whenever it's convenient for you, when you're going to be home, when you want them to show up. And guess what? They do. They show up on time. Chances are they have the mattress you want in the size and comfort level you're looking for, ready for same-day delivery, including even today if you call right now. Dial a Mattress is ranked #1 in customer satisfaction. I've been using them for a long time, and George uses them. Mo and Miguel, and even Fat Boy. I can imagine the size of his mattress. Just a few of the people at QM who are satisfied customers, and you will be too. So if the old mattress has just had it, lumpy and bumpy and soiled and nasty and stinky, don't put it off another minute. Call 1-800-MATTRESS right now, or log on to their website, mattress.com. Call today. Be sleeping like a baby as soon as tonight. Call right now, 1-800-MATTRESS, 1-800-MATTRES. Leave off the last S because it stands for stupendous savings.
This is Neil Rogers.
As in
this
Stu
is
Barnes.
560 QAM.
Lady Madonna, riding on your horse. Your cornball got caught in the reins, of course. It wasn't funny when your bones were broken. Felt just like a punch from that funk Sean Penn. Make that horse into a leather suitcase. Riding on him wasn't very fun, 'cause he threw you down upon your cute face like a virgin. Lady Madonna, flying through the air. Wonder if you yelled out something like a prayer. Get well, 'cause your fans will be sending, wishing you some tea and sympathy. Material girl, it's no good pretending. Don't cry for me. Lady Madonna, don't have no lucky star. Maybe next time you should ride in a car.
The impact of the effects test, the Mobile case changed the Zimmer case.
Well, Senator, you
and
disagree.
What we were
Senator, let him finish his answer.
Okay. Well, I'd just like to get whether the Zimmer case was not the holding and the rule of the...
Let him have it, Ted, okay, you racist bastard, John Roberts, you and your Reaganite right-wing bastards. Anyway, 20 after 11, it's all just an exercise, like I told George before the show. It's a dog and pony show, and it's exercise, and they're like, he's going to get confirmed, and he's going to be the, that's it. As a matter of fact, I probably should read this article now. You're not going to read all these articles today, are you? Yes, I am. Just to piss off Tom Jicha, okay? Just to make his bald spot grow even a little bit bigger. How you doing, Tommy? I know you're listening, even though the show sucks and I'm very shallow and it's a piece of crap and you can't understand why I do what I do. You don't know doo-doo, okay, Tom? I've heard you grepsing and belching and puking on the air. Go back to the track and lose your ass. End of the Bush era, writes E.J. Dion Jr. in the Washington Post. I wonder if he's kin to like Marcel Dion. You think so?
Who?
Speaking of hockey, let's get hockey intensive. Let's get Rimmer on for a hockey show.
No.
The Bush era is over. The sooner politicians in both parties realize that, the better for them and the country. I would say on that.
Absolutely correct, sir.
Recent months, and especially the past 2 weeks, have brought home to a steadily growing majority of Americans the truth that President Bush's government doesn't work. Brownie aside, of course. His policies are failing. His approach to leadership is detached and self-indulgent. His way of politics has produced a divided, angry, and dysfunctional public square. We dare not go on like this. The Bush era didn't begin when he took office, or even with the terrorist attacks of 9/11. It began on September 14, 2001, when Bush declared at the World Trade Center site, "I can hear you, the rest of the world hears you, and the people who knock these buildings down will hear all of us soon." Bush was indeed skilled in identifying enemies and rallying a nation already disposed to action. He failed to realize after 9/11 that it was not we who were lucky to have him as a leader, but he who was lucky to be president of a great country that understood the importance of standing together in the face of a grave foreign threat. Very nearly all of us rallied behind him. If Bush had understood that his central task was to forge national unity, as he seemed to shortly after 9/11, the country would have never become so polarized. Instead, Bush patriotism to the service of narrowly ideological policies and extreme partisanship. He pushed for more tax cuts for his wealthiest supporters and shamelessly used relatively modest details in the bill creating a Department of Homeland Security as partisan cudgels in the 2002 elections. He invoked our national anger over terrorism to win support for a war in Iraq, but he failed to pay heed to those who warned that the U.S. would need many more troops and careful planning to see the job through. The president assumed things would turn out fine on the basis of wildly optimistic assumptions. Careful policymaking and thinking through potential flaws in your approach are not his administration's strong suits. And so the Bush era ended definitively on September 2nd, the day Bush first toured the Gulf states after Hurricane Katrina. There was no magic moment with a bullhorn. The utter failure of federal relief efforts had by then penetrated the country's consciousness. Yesterday's resignation of FEMA Director Michael Brown put an exclamation point on the failure. Kind of a, oh! The source of Bush's political success was his claim that he could protect Americans. Leadership, strength, and security were Bush's calling cards. Over the past 2 weeks, they were lost in the surging waters of New Orleans. But the first intimations of the end of Bush era came months ago. The president's post-election fixation on privatizing part of Social Security showed how out of touch he was. The more Bush discussed this boutique idea, cooked up in conservative think tanks and Wall Street imaginations, the less the public liked it. The situation in Iraq deteriorated. The glorious economy Bush kept touting turned out not to be glorious for many Americans. The Census Bureau's annual economic report released in the midst of the Gulf disaster found that an additional 4.1 million Americans had slipped into poverty between 2001 and 2004. The breaking of the Bush spell opens the way for leaders of both parties to declare their independence from the recent past. It gives forces outside the White House the opportunity to shape a more appropriate national agenda for competence and innovation in rebuilding the Katrina region and for new approaches to the problems created over the past 4.5 years. The federal budget, already a mess before Katrina, is now a laughable document. Those who call for yet more tax cuts risk sounding like robots, droning automated talking points programmed inside them long ago. Katrina's forced the issue of deep poverty back onto the national agenda after a long absence. Finding a way forward in and eventually out of Iraq will require creativity from those not implicated in the administration's mistakes. And if ever the phrase reinventing government had relevance, it's now that we've observed the performance of a government that allows political hacks to push aside the professionals. And what of Bush, who has more than 3 years left in his term? Paradoxically, his best hope lies in recognizing that the Bush era, as he and we have known it, really is gone. He can decide to help us in the transition to what comes next, or he can cling stubbornly to his past and thereby doom himself to frustrating irrelevance. What an outstanding column. Now, granted, I'm too shallow to come up with stuff like that myself,
right.
So I have to read what other brilliant people have written, because I'm not so brilliant. I'm just some fat putz sitting on a radio talking with a big mouth, okay? Tom, you idiot, you quizzling, you fairy. Yeah. Now, if you're in L.A. yesterday after those warnings, that tape that released, that Adam Perlman tape on Sunday, and notice nobody wants to talk about Adam Perlman. That's his name. Just like they don't, just like on all these talking head news shows, they don't want to talk about the fact that Brownie was Bush's college roommate. That was his qualification to be director of FEMA.
You think they were in the same frat?
He was his college roommate. Yeah, they probably were doing that secret handshake, or maybe they were shaking something. I
think it was a bonesman.
Maybe it had something to do with the old Brownie hound. But at any rate, no, they don't want to talk about that. I mean, every now and then you hear about his, preceding job as the head of the International Arabian Horse Association. Good golly, Miss Molly. But at any rate, so if you're in L.A. yesterday and you saw the Adam Perlman tape on Sunday where they were threatening against Sydney, Australia, and L.A., and all of a sudden in the early afternoon, I guess it was about 1 o'clock L.A. time, and the power starts going out?
Yeah.
All over the area? Yeah, exactly. I don't want to say that they were a little bit nervous or that they're on edge. But a power outage that affected more than 2 million people in and around L.A. yesterday was triggered by an unlikely source, a utility crew installing a system upgrade. Damn it. The L.A. Department of Water and Power workers cut several cables incorrectly, slicing the wires as a group rather than one at a time. And how about, speaking of bad TV shows, one day at a time?
Oh, yeah.
Said Ed Miller, Director of Power Systems Operations and Maintenance for the department. That triggered a short and tripped circuit breakers, and bada bing, power was going off like crazy. The surge in electricity to the remaining lines overloaded the system, caused a shutdown at the power receiving station where the DWP employees were working. This station converts high-voltage power from area-generating stations to low-voltage power used by businesses and residents. The system-wide alert prompted 2 generating stations and other receiving stations to shut down as well. As a result, the department began shedding customers, cutting power to people across the city to stabilize lines. When the outage began, the workers were installing automated monitoring controls to provide department officials with immediate information about the status of its system. They screwed up, in other words, to make a long story short. They sliced it, they diced it, they chopped it, and they didn't even have the Vegematic or the Vagimatic.
To discriminate in athletics for girls, women, it would have been legal to discriminate in the hiring of teachers, would have been legal not to provide services or accommodations to the disabled.
I guess Ted hasn't figured it out yet that, Reagan, when he didn't want to renew the Voting Rights Act, let's face it, Republicans don't want black folks voting. Don't you get it?
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Bob Denver, the actor that played Gilligan, dead at 70. Did we really know him? When we come back, he reveals newly discovered videos of the crew's all-night sex parties.
Oh, Gilligan, you made me so happy. You're wonderful. You're just marvelous. I don't know how to describe you. You're so great.
Take it easy now, little buddy. Just take it easy.
Although they never got off the island, they still got off.
Oh, yes, you're so rugged, so masculine. How about a little kiss, Gilligan?
Sure. Gilligan, are you all right? Do it again, will you, please?
The True Hollywood Story.
How come we don't have Gilligan's Island on our poll so far, huh?
Well,
probably if I quit reading these stupid bedtime stories and take 100 and 200 calls, we get a whole bunch of names on there. I don't really care. Poll is not the most important thing, right? I always used to confuse Bob Denver, because I hated that show, with Jim Neighbors. Hey, Jim.
You fairy.
Okay.
Is he dead, Jim Neighbors, or what?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I know Rock Hudson's still dead.
Right.
What show was Jim Neighbors on?
Gomer Pyle, USMC.
Oh, Gomer Pyle. Now, that's a bad show. Get that one on there right away.
That was
Gomer
a spin-off of the Andy
Gilligan's
Griffith
Island.
Show.
What?
Andy Griffith Show.
Oh, God.
Gomer was from Mayberry.
You know, everything bad came from Andy Griffith.
Even Opie?
Didn't he just croak? He just died here a while back, didn't he?
I don't think so.
Come on. Andy Griffith just died. Please.
Did he?
I don't know. Maybe not. I thought we just did a whole thing about Andy Griffith not that long ago. Well, Google it. See if he's still alive. Here's a New York Times editorial that was reprinted in yesterday's Toronto Star, of all places. Governor turns into girly man. Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger was a profile in timidity last week when he vowed to veto a pioneering bill authorizing gay marriage in California. The bill, which both houses of the legislature passed by narrow margins, would expand the definition of marriage to include a civil contract between two people, not exclusively a man and a woman. This was an enlightened and fair-minded stand that made California's legislature the first in the nation to approve same-sex marriages. Too bad Schwarzenegger couldn't find the courage to sign the bill into law. Instead, even before receiving the bill, he announced a tortured rationale for vetoing it. For years, social conservatives have accused judges of deciding social issues that should be left to legislators. Now Schwarzenegger wants to ignore his legislature and leave gay marriage to the courts or the voters at large to decide. He relies on a fig leaf. I wonder where he's sticking that. 5 years ago, Californians voted overwhelmingly for a ballot measure that recognized only heterosexual marriages as valid. A statement by the governor's press office declared, "We cannot have a system where the people vote and the legislature derails that vote." That ignores the fact that 5 years is an eternity in the fast-moving arena of gay rights. Even though 61% of the voters approved the ballot measure, recent polls show that the electorate is now evenly split. The legislature is hardly a renegade body if it roughly mirrors popular opinion. Schwarzenegger also seems to have forgotten that this nation was founded as a republic in which the citizens elect legislators to govern on their behalf. Such representative democracy is especially important when it comes to protecting the fundamental rights of minorities. It's easy to guess why Schwarzenegger was in such a hurry to announce his veto. Although initially hailed as a centrist superhero who could appeal to a broad range of voters, his popularity has plummeted, and polls show that most Californians are inclined to reoppose his re-election. Only his Republican base continues to back him. Schwarzenegger's own views of gay marriage are hidden beneath vague, sometimes contradictory comments that add up to ducking the issue. The former Mr. Universe, who has derided political opponents as girly men, is afraid to say what he really thinks. He falls back on a rationale that would leave the issue to the courts or another vote of the people, anything to get him off the hook. They're all girly men. In other words,
you fairy.
Yeah, he's pathetic. Oh, speaking of pathetic.
For President Taliban and his fellow citizens, the day Saddam was removed from power was a day of deliverance.
Deliverance.
And America will always be proud that we led the armies of liberation.
Oh, yeah, we're really proud of you, man. You're doing it. Roberts, of all, because we can't, I could put the thing on there and just sit back here and put the confirmation hearings on if they would get this bozo off the air.
Yeah,
but we don't want to do that. Huh?
Those are riveting.
Well, Ted Kennedy was just slicing Roberts up real good on civil rights. But nevertheless, Supreme Court nominee John Roberts said today that the landmark 73 ruling on abortion was settled as a precedent of the court as he was immediately pressed to address the divisive issue on the second day of his confirmation hearings. It's settled as a precedent of the court entitled to respect under principles of stare decisis, the concept that long-settled decisions should be given extra weight, Roberts told the Judiciary Committee. Roberts dismissed any suggestion that his Catholic faith would influence his decision if he was confirmed to be the nation's 17th Chief Justice. The Roman Catholic Church strongly opposes abortion and birth control and anything else that makes sense. Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Arlen Specter cited President Kennedy's statement in 1960 that he didn't speak from his church on public matters and the church didn't speak for him. I agree with that, Senator. Yes, Roberts said. That's the same President Kennedy that was killed by that magic bullet. There's nothing in my personal views based on faith or other sources that would prevent me from applying the precedent of the court faithfully under the principles of stare decisis, Roberts said. Stare decisis is Latin for to stand by a decision and legally translates into the doctrine that says courts are bound by previous decisions or precedents, especially when a case has been decided by a higher court. Questioned about rights of privacy, the appellate judge cited various amendments of the Constitution that he said protect those rights and said, I do think the right to privacy is protected under the Constitution in various ways. Of course, Judge Scalia was probably like rolling his eyes when that testimony was being given, wouldn't you think?
I would think.
Because Judge Scalia, of course, don't believe in anybody's right to privacy unless he's out duck hunting with the vice president. And he wants to be left the hell alone. 5670560. Oh, speaking of that, speaking of good Catholics, lawsuits filed by two men yesterday accused the Catholic Diocese of Orlando of concealing clergy sex abuse more than 30 years ago.
About 30, man.
Attorneys for the two unnamed plaintiffs charged that beginning in the mid-1960s, the Reverend Vernon Uran, I followed, abused them and others through 1976 at rectories at St. Mary Magdalene Church in Altamont Springs, the Church of the Resurrection in Lakeland, St. Teresa Church in Bellevue, as well as on a cross-country trip in a recreational vehicle. Uran and he followed in his recreational vehicle. The suits, each seeking $5 million in damages, also charged the leaders of the diocese, including Bishop William Borders, now retired Archbishop of Baltimore, knew of the charges against Uran, refused to do anything to stop it, even conceal the charges. Oh, how unusual, huh? They swept it under the rug. It's a good thing that in the church they got all those old Oriental carpets, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of rugs, a lot of stuff to sweep under there. The suits filed in Orange Circuit Court alleged that the diocese transferred Uran from parish to parish, where he continued to have unfettered access to minors and was permitted to have frequent sleepovers in the rectories. How do you like that? Rectories. Border served as the first bishop of the Diocese of Orlando, which was created from the Diocese of St. Augustine from 68 to 74. According to one suit, one of the men, then a 14-year-old altar boy, was sexually abused. Now, let's see. We've asked Josh if he was an altar boy, didn't we? Did we?
Yeah, you did, and you know the answer.
I beg your pardon?
I said you did, and you know the answer.
The answer was no.
Right.
Oh, well, you lucked out.
I was one for one occasion for a wedding.
No, they didn't want you, though.
Got to wear a purple dress.
Yeah, I bet it was lovely. If we had pictures of that, we could put it on our website. George in his little purple dress.
Had a lace vest that went with it.
Holy cow, it's a good thing he didn't run into the purple people eater.
I think he was doing the ceremony.
Yeah. According to one suit, one of the men, then a 14-year-old altar boy, was sexually abused on 10 occasions in 71 during a 3-month cross-country tour that Uran said was a spiritual retreat, or maybe just the treat part. The Diocese of Orlando hasn't been served any papers regarding these allegations, so we can't speak to the specifics of the case. Carol Bernardi, Director of Communications, said in a statement, child sexual abuse is criminal and sinful. We remain committed to helping every victim, and we pray for all those involved in these situations. Can you imagine? How do you like to have $10 in the bank for every person in Africa who's going to die because of the Catholic Church?
How about 1 penny?
Okay.
I'll take a cent.
Pennies from heaven? How about pennies from Rimmer? Buy a hell of a lunch. 2 months ago, the Diocese of Orlando and St. Augustine agreed to pay $1.5 million to settle claims by 3 men who say they were sexually abused as altar boys by Uran and another priest more than 30 years ago.
About 30, man.
The 3 men alleged that Uran and the Reverend Hubert Reason abused them at a summer camp at the San Pedro Retreat Center in Winter Park and at St. Mary Magdalene. On May 1st, Orlando Bishop Thomas Wensky brought the accusation to the attention of 3 Central Florida parishes where the priest had served and urged any parishioners who had information about the 2 men to come forward. Reason died in 84. Bishop Norbert Dorsey, then Bishop of Orlando, removed Uran from ministry in 92 after another allegation of sexual abuse. Man, I'll tell you one thing. These guys were sure busy.
This is Neil Rogers.
You fairy.
This is 560 QAM.
Neil got out. WQAM. Where the faggot is.
Good morning. We must begin by recognizing an essential fact. poverty is one of the great moral achievements of American government. If we in government take our responsibilities seriously, the shortfalls will grow larger with each passing year. And we must tap into the problems and pass them on to future presidents and future generations. The American people voted for reform in 2004, and now they expect us to work towards bankruptcy down the road. I came to Washington to slow economic growth. I look forward to working with members of Congress on this important issue. Together we will make certain that America meets its deepening long-term problem. And most Americans are bankrupt. Thank you for listening.
Absolutely.
Bush ignored the city of New Orleans. Yes, some of the people down there say he failed. Stuffs the people in the Astrodome like cattle, while half the National Guard was in Iraq. He cut funding for their levies, looters causing anarchy. In Aruba we made a bigger deal. In search for Natalie Holloway, for one white girl we drained a lake, and even asked for help from the Navy SEALs. George Bush was vacationing in Crawford,
Abu Ghraib.
I guess next year there'll be no Mardi Gras. Girls Gone Wild needs the city of New Orleans, or they'll have to send their film crew to Florida.
Absolutely.
11:47, 13 till noon. We got the Mo Meister at 2, Mad Dog at 4, and then we got that Hurricane Hotline at 7. Well, it's a good thing for them the game is in Houston, an hour behind.
Well, okay.
Well, no, because then they can get some of those spots in there that they sell for as part of that whole hurricane package, Isn't that what it's really all about? Carrying these ball games is just to get spots on the air? Isn't that really on a sports station? Just get a lot of spots on there. Like the $4.5 million a year they're going to have to cover on the ticket for those Dolphins, man. And once they start, showing their true colors, I think they showed their true colors in the first half of the game on Sunday. That's the real Dolphins. In the second half, when Denver stayed in the locker room, it looked really easy. It just amuses the hell out of me how people get it happens year after year. When are you going to learn your lesson already, huh? Take it from an old Leafs fan, I know. Street Smart, says John in Columbia, South Carolina. Stupid game show that asks people on the street what color is in orange and they get it wrong. How about green? Street Smart, got it?
You got it.
Okay, we need a lot more shows on that pool. Let's take 400, 500, 600 calls between now and 2 o'clock. Maybe 1,000. What do you say?
All right.
The worst TV show of all time, Anna Nicole Show, 80. Throwing Up Gotti, 53. Rosie O'Donnell, 39. Jerry Springer's got
about 30, man.
American Idol, 23. Hee Haw, 23. Fear Factor and Cop Rock, 22 apiece. Oprah's got 17. What a show that is. Is that a show or what, huh? I love the pastel backgrounds, though.
Oh, they're lovely.
Oh, yeah. The View, 13. Dukes of Hazzard, 12. Brady Bunch Hour, 10. My Mother, the Car, 8. Full House, 7. Laverne and Squirrely, 6. For all you schlemiels and schlemazzles. Everybody Loves Raymond, 5. The Nanny, 5. Beverly Hillbillies, 5. Punky Brewster, 4. Green Acres, 4. Joni Loves Chachi, 3. What about Charles in Charge with Willie Ames and Scott Baio?
Okay.
What was he in charge of, by the way? I wonder.
Rectum.
Oh. Well, we don't want to go there. Well, like I started to say, let's take a bunch of these calls, get some more names on the poll. It's your fault, because I tend to always go back to my pile. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Mr. Neal, how you doing?
All right, Mr. Caller.
I'd like to know if anybody's made the point about the new director of FEMA. He's the man who's most notably known as the guy who says every home should stockpile plastic sheeting and duct tape in case of a nuclear
attack. They mentioned that on MSNBC yesterday, right.
Duct
tape and Visqueen.
Another ass wipe.
Okay. Well, we should know he's a Miami guy. Or
by
at least,
the way,
yes,
stockpile a lot of that, too.
What's that? Ass wipe?
You know it.
Oh, yeah.
Especially for a hurricane.
Mr. Whipple says, come on and get it now while you can. Because you don't want to get left in the can without, out a whole bunch of rolls. Actually, I found like a store brand that you see, we get kind of believing you should spend more for toilet paper because it's more like thicker and several ply and more absorbent and like easy on the old ass. Well, come to find out that some of the store brands are just as even better.
Are they?
Well, that's what I've discovered.
I'm scared.
Well, I'll send you some.
All right.
After you watch that movie, by the way. George is watching the movie tonight.
Yes, I am.
I want a full report tomorrow, Standing in the Shadows of Motown.
All right.
Few people haven't seen that movie. I'm almost inspired to play some of that music now. Oh, God, is that a good movie. Again, if you don't like Motown, then don't waste your time. I mean, it's no Garden State.
But what is?
Huh?
But then what is?
Yeah, it was bad. If that comes on, immediately bust your TV screen. Smash the...
I know you want to leave.
Just bust the...
But
Yeah.
I refuse to let you go.
See, now the music is good on this CD, but when you I don't know, it's just when you watch the video, it's just it's a million times better. You'll see.
All right.
Guaranteed. I'll bet you Boca's life on it. I'll bet you Sud's life on it. WQAM, hello.
What happened to 2 o'clock?
WQAM, hello. Okay. WQAM, hola. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neil, God.
Yes, sir.
As far as the poll goes, how could we forget a horse is a horse, of course, the amazing Mr. Ed.
Yeah.
And then there was also a show that Bob Denver became famous for before Gilligan's Island. Dobie Gillis, I think it was called.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, those two definitely belong on the poll.
Okay, you got him on.
Right.
Dobie Gillis, now let's see, that was Dwight, Dwight was the good actor, Daryl Hickman.
If you say so. I never watched a single episode.
It was Daryl Hickman, the kid that had the white hair, looked like an albino.
Okay.
And Dwight Hickman was his brother, who was really a good actor.
Good morning, Ace Hardware. May I help you?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Good morning, Ace Hardware. May I help you?
Hello. I'm Mr. Ed.
Well, that's good. See, that bit would really be funny if the voice answering the phone weren't so bad, such a bad fake voice.
Right. We could fake it better than that.
Oh, yeah, anybody could. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil, how are you?
Pretty good?
I just tuned in for the poll. Seinfeld has to go on there.
I'm with you, man. I don't understand it.
No, I love how the people who like the show say, you have to be smart enough to get it. Boy, that is the stupidest show I've seen in my life.
Amen.
Another thing, would you consider, after your contract's over, to follow a schedule like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday?
Until what? Until I'm 95?
Oh, God. I can't fathom what it would be like. Oh, George did a great job. I hate when he plays music. He's great.
I hate when he plays music, too.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Well, I just can't fathom. I mean, you're not like 80 years old. You're still 60-something. I see you as like you're like 89.
Okay.
I love you, Neil, and George is great.
I'll talk to you, young whippersnapper. Okay, see you. Yeah. I can just see it. Hello, and you know something? Then I guess I finally would fit right in with South Florida.
Now you're going to have to play Old Neil when you come back.
Hello, let's play some old calls. Dr. Dunn, I have blue lips. What can I do, Dr. Dunn? Oh, when I think of all those years. Oh, yeah, and the money wasn't even good back then. That's the bad part. I mean, it did lead to this, so I guess it was okay. But that was a long time ago, little Tommy. Starting March, not starting, but March 1st, coming up a big anniversary, Tommy. That's
about 30, man.
30 years in a year in South Florida. And I told the Muffmeister that I'll be glad to talk to Kevin Bastard at the Herald. Because, they're going to want to do interviews and stuff like that and write an article. It'll be obligatory. 30th anniversary on the air, et cetera, and so on, if I live that long. And I'm not talking to Jicha. And it's not because I have thin skin. It's not because he printed that letter, because, we get ripped all the time on the show. It's because of the fact that it was obligatory for him to, go along. Oh, yeah, I agree with what you say, but, why are you listening? Well, why are you listening, Tom? Because you love it. Every time I mention your name, your bald spot starts quivering, okay? And even a little quiver in your rectum wouldn't surprise me. God almighty. 5670560. And like I said, not one word, although this station takes a part of the responsibility for that, not one word, even on our own website, we can't get one word about, like Neil's back on Monday through Friday. Now, we can't get that, Eric. I just mentioned that in passing. Had to, practically break his elbow to get him to take the summer schedule thing off of there. But, you got him putting all this silly Mo stuff on there. That's time-consuming, although I did like that one yesterday.
Yeah, there's another Bush picture up there, too.
Down there in not only New Orleans, but surrounding parishes and along the Gulf Coast.
Yeah, we know. We've seen it. Yeah, the slap Mo thing. That'll keep you off the streets anyway. Now, what's the Bush picture?
I got over 200 miles an hour.
One of the worst disasters. That's great. Newsflash. Sky Newsflash. One of the worst disasters to hit the U.S., and it's a picture of the smirking chimp Bush right behind it. That's a beautiful thing. That's great. And, of course, Rupert Murdoch's probably peeing in his pants over there. Oh, who put that on there? Good old right-wing Rupert Murdoch that puts all that perversion on Fox Entertainment.
Right. This is Neil Rogers. You failed. This is 560 QAM.
It's Dick Cheney. I like to relax by having Mary Magdalene massage my balls while listening to the Neil Rogers 12 to 1 hour.
And here's to you, Mr. Garfunkel. Troopers found some pot in your limo.
Oh my God.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. God bless you, please, Mr. Garfunkel. There's a hefty fine that you will pay. $100. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Now you have a criminal record in our police files. If we have you, could learn to help yourself. Look around you, all you see are dilated eyes. If you're getting stoned, do it in your own home. And here's to you, Mr. Garfunkel, smoking ganja even though you're old. Whoa, whoa, whoa. God bless you, please, Mr. Garfunkel. Paul Simon hopes you're not locked away. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey.
Shame on you, Artie boy. What kind of a message is that to send the youth of America smoking any wacky weed, huh? Only in America, man. Juvenile, childish, putting people in jail for, like, puffing on little ganj, man. Crazy people is what you're talking about. Crazy people like...
Some of us are wondering why they need civilian nuclear power anyway.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, nuclear. Actually, did he actually say it right that time? I can't believe it.
No, he didn't.
I don't think he did. I think he said
Abu
read that. Deep-rooted incompetence, write the editors of The Nation. As the 4th anniversary of 9/11 approached, Americans were increasingly disquieted by the costly quagmire in Iraq, rising gas prices, and an economy that benefits only CEOs. Then the destruction visited upon the Gulf Coast by Hurricane Katrina and the grossly negligent government response to the flooding that followed exposed the full scope of George W. Bush's misrule. The failures were so outrageous they roused even our embedded media from its slumbers. But the incompetence revealed by the response to the hurricane is deep-rooted and can be traced to the 25-year project begun in the Reagan era of discrediting government, starving the beast of resources, and exalting private markets and faith-based charities. Tax cuts for the wealthy and congressional corruption have drained government of the imagination and resources to address human needs. Katrina has brutally exposed Americans to the cost of this folly. The spending squeeze that delayed the strengthening of the levees in New Orleans, despite repeated warnings from the experts, reflects this administration's skewed priorities. Money for war and occupation in Iraq, but not for protection of life at home. With 1/3 of the troops and half the equipment of Louisiana and Mississippi National Guard in Iraq, Americans saw stark evidence of the domestic price of the war this president has chosen to fight on credit, and the chilling scenes of calamity visited on the most vulnerable exposed to the world America's reality, a country ever more divided by race and class. The Gulf Coast looked, said Bush, like it had been hit with the worst kind of weapon. The president is right, responded Representative Dennis Kucinich. Indifference is a weapon of mass destruction. While most of the affluent of New Orleans left by car or plane, the poor had no way out. They were told to go to the Superdome and Convention Center, where unbelievably there were inadequate supplies of food and water, no electricity, befouled sanitation facilities, and no police protection. When it came time to rescue and relocate the displaced, the Bush administration placed the onus on state and local officials and called on citizens to give to charities. But faith-based disaster relief is no substitute for an effective, organized, rapid government response. Since New Orleans is a major center of oil imports and refining, Katrina roiled already tight energy markets. Gas companies, wallowing in record profits, took the occasion to gouge Americans at the pump. The company's rapacity and the country's vulnerability are direct results of Bush's big oil energy policy, his failure to lead a drive for energy independence by investing in conservation and in renewable and diverse energy sources. Instead of calling for an excess profits tax on oil companies to help pay for the rebuilding, Bush immediately asserted that no tax increase was necessary. The staggering incompetence of the Department of Homeland Security, which disregarded its own forecast, exposed this administration's glaring failure to prepare for emergencies after 9/11. In the chaotic reorganization of DHS, the powers of FEMA, the agency in charge of natural disasters, were weakened and its budget slashed. Now, in the wake of Katrina, America must begin rebuilding from the ruins caused by nature and policy. A massive public works project is imperative for New Orleans and neighboring communities, along with affordable housing and adequate planning for food and storm protection. We must restore the wetlands and barrier islands that have been degraded by canals and levees. The disaster requires a thorough investigation into what went wrong by an independent commission with subpoena power. It should also lead now furious Americans to re-examine a generation of backward priorities. The debate about the role of government in the service of public good has been reopened. The hurricane revealed not only the desperate poverty of the region's African-American population, but also the poverty of our federal policies. For too long, our leaders have abandoned our cities, our poor, our public infrastructure. We need a government dedicated to serving the unemployed, the ill-fed, and the ill-housed. It's time to end the dismantling and time to begin the rebuilding. There's nothing in George Bush's policies or actions to suggest that this administration has the leadership or the values for the task. To recover from the government's follies, Americans need a relocation and reclamation project in Washington, D.C., in addition to the massive one beginning in Katrina's wake. When in doubt, throw them out on their ass. That's what they're saying. Amen. Yeah. Hold your breath. I'll let you know when to exhale. 567-0560, pound 560 on the Verizon and Singular Wireless line. But who's going to win the ball game? That's the important question, okay? What about those hurricanes? See, we got more important hurricanes on our mind in South Florida than the ones that nature creates, right?
Yeah.
Now you're talking. WQAM, hello.
Hello, Neil?
Yes, sir?
How you doing, Neil? That guy, Tommy Brady's a fegler.
Yeah, okay, great. 567-0560, same jackass that called yesterday with the same crap out. Tommy Brady, yeah. Like I said yesterday, I'll tell you the same thing. You only wish that you had one of his fingers, okay? Although I can't tell you where you'd stick it.
Rectum.
567-0560. Let's get some more names of shows for this pool or whatever. Maybe a lot of more good calls like that, okay?
That's right. That's gold.
Yeah, well, you know those pretty guy ball players, they're all faggots. They're all faggots.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. WQAM, hello.
Neil God.
Yes, sir.
I'm surprised nobody has put Mork and Mindy on your poll yet.
An excellent choice. We're trying to forget it.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
All right, and nanu.
567-0560. Let's get a lot of great calls in here. Quit reading all that boring crap. See, it's taking a toll on my throat, and it's only Tuesday. You're really joking about this Monday through Friday, aren't you?
No, it's great.
WQAM, hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, it's funny, September, August started the new school year and everything, and I know you were on vacation, haven't had a chance to talk to you, but how many people out there have friends or neighbors who have kids, you know what I'm saying, that just went to college? I got two neighbors, Bush Flickers, and guess what? I said, why don't your kids go to the Army or something? Oh, no, they're going to go to college. And they're these Bushites. You know, it just drives me nuts.
Yeah.
They won't send their own children over there.
Well, when's Bush's daughters going over there, huh?
I'm sorry?
I said, when's Bush's daughters? When are the twins going over there?
Correct. It's anybody else but their children. That's what it comes down to. It makes me sick.
Human sacrifice. Amen. Oh, there's Ted Kennedy.
And I really am troubled that the nominee can't say that this is a fundamental right, and its constitutionality has not been challenged. I'm concerned that the judge's views on civil rights, the views that he had when he was a young person in the Justice Department, appear very much to be his views today. I asked him about the different memoranda that he wrote at that particular time and what his views were today. I would have thought that he would have understood that under the rather stingy and cramped view that he had about the role of Congress and of the Constitution, Senator, that he could have understood the dangers that we would have about civil rights.
What did you think of his response to questions that Senator Arlen Specter, the chairman of the committee, asked on abortion rights for women, suggesting that the Constitution, in his view, does have a right to privacy?
Well, I think we're going to have to hear more about this, and I think we will. I think Senator Feinstein has indicated, both in her opening statement and indicated that she is going to spend a good deal of time.
Where are the rest of the Ted Kennedys? Of course, he could never be president because he killed somebody.
Well, I thought it was a
because of poor Mary Jo, and that car went off the bridge. We sure can't have a president who's responsible for anybody dying. That's right, I forgot. Right. Because presidents and senators don't have people killed, Kay.
Okay.
And that's right, Kay was the one. Now who's being naive? Well, it's so pathetic. Anyway, 567-0560, pound 560 on the Verizon and Singular Wireless lines. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Neil. One for your poll. Let's not forget Alf, one of the worst shows ever.
Step on him. Thanks, Pally.
You have a good one.
Alf the Elf. You got Alf?
Well, you do.
WQAM, hello.
Who's being naive now, Neil? Hey. Send the twins, Cheney face.
Okay, and the Bull Dyke daughter, let's say, that's right, we can't allow gays in the military, sorry. Bull Dyke daughter's got an excuse. Alan Key's daughter's got an excuse. Phyllis Shoefly's son's got an excuse. Tom DeLay's kid's got an excuse. All these gay offspring of all these right-wing Farbissen. Pretty amazing. Wouldn't surprise me if the Pope's got some gay kids. Well, they're not necessarily his, but... 5670560. That beady-eyed Pope, man, he is really dangerous.
Ooh, the face of evil.
Wow. Just look at... in fact, he's got those Bela Lugosi eyes, you know? WQAM, hello.
That two for your poll, Neil?
Yes, sir.
How about 18?
The 18. How's it going, 18? And
how about Night Rider?
Night Rider.
Night Raider.
Right. Night, what is it?
Night Rider. That's what that's from.
I'll tell you what show that you like a lot is always on. It's on Scream TV here on the cable. That's where all the screamers hang out. In fact, maybe it's on right now. No, it's not. Oh, look what's on. The Addams Family. They just went into a break. Damn it. Night Stalker. Kolchak the Night Stalker.
Yeah, that was great. I loved it.
They have all those episodes on there. We got some good channels here that you don't get. Too bad.
Too bad I can't find that hat anymore.
WQAM. Hello. QAM.
Good afternoon, Neil.
Good afternoon with a fake voice. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
What was the show with the singing cop that was on like a couple of years ago? Remember
It's on there.
Cop Rock, it's on. It's already doing very well.
Unbelievable, man.
Got 25 votes. They hate it like poison.
And I got one more. Hello, Larry with McLean Stevenson. What a bomb that was.
What was it again?
Hello, Larry.
Hello, Larry. Oh, yeah, that's that. How McLean Stevenson, he had a run of those tremendous failures. Poor McLean. After MASH, huh? After MASH, it was just time to sit back, take the money from the reruns, go on those quiz shows. Is he dead, McLean Stevenson, I think?
One of those guys died.
Now, what did we ever find out about whoever we were talking about before, which I forgot already, about Andy Griffith?
Andy Griffith. He's still kicking.
Andy Griffith is still alive. Oh, that's right. I think he was, I saw a picture of him with Don Knotts, because Don Knotts is right on the edge. Right? He's still hanging on, right?
Yeah, as far as I know.
You know who Don Knotts reminds me of? And this isn't a shot. It's just, they're just suds.
Okay. They have a similar look.
No, I don't mean the look so much, just the same kind of personality, the same kind of ambiance.
I don't agree
Funny
with
guys.
that, but...
Huh?
I said I don't agree
with
that.
Don Knotts and
much more
Suds.
animated.
I could just see, in fact, it's not too late. You can get that show signed up, Suds, before Don passes the other side. He's going to pass to the other side. I was just thinking about that this morning, about all those old farts that used to call when I was doing my old farts radio show on W Snooze and INZ at night. Well, guess what? They're all dead. How do you like that? They went to the other side. In other words, the worms are having them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and maybe an occasional snack as well.
Read the words that Judge Roberts, I think it's not a great leap to say that he didn't have a full comprehension as someone that was 30 years old about what this country, what someone like John Lewis had gone through over the course of his lifetime.
I think that we need another 99 senators like Ted. We might be okay. Kick some ass, Teddy. And we'll all go out and get drunk.
Bitch, you slut, you whore.
This is a story of a girl who got lucky. Anna Nicole hit the jackpot. She got it all. While his body rocks, she can't smile. It's what she was waiting for. And now she is so wealthy. This former guest girl. That's because she's so lucky. Married Grandpa, and he died. Not decrepit old fart, thinking, if I had to screw that old fox up, I deserve $450 million.
1219, there's nothing like some old, frazzled up guy with a lot of money to marry some hot young bitch. Well, in her case, lukewarm. Let's see, female listener says the Tony Danza show. He gives me the creeps. I just see him. And I start getting, I feel unclean, Tony Danza show, he's disgusting. And somebody's got a list here, Barney and Friends, okay, Cops, and the Lawrence of Welk show, a 1 or 2. What's three, speaking of those old farts? A 1 or 2, he's dead, Lawrence of Welk. And I bet you the Landon sisters are probably dead too. And also that big skinny guy. whatever his name was, Larry or something or other. And it looked like one of the Jordanaires they used to sing with Elvis. I wonder if Elvis is still in bed with Mommy up in that heaven, in that thing in the sky.
Cloudy pillows, I'm sure.
Oh. Well, how old was he when he stopped slopping with Mommy?
About 30, man.
Oh, God. 567-0560, pound 560. There's a lot of that goes on in the trailer park, slopping with Mommy. And pound 560 in the Verizon Singular Wireless lines, especially in Tennessee. WQAM, hello.
Neil, I would like you to know that I love all.
Okay, good. WQAM, hello.
Yes, you were speaking about Motown earlier?
Yeah.
This is Dennis Collins. I've told Bob Hamilton to play 3 Motown songs.
Why'd you hang up on Dennis? I wanted to see where he was going.
Oh, God. Our very upset, our very disgruntled former Magic employee who hates Bob Hamilton like poison. Hey, blame it on Ricky Ticky, okay? He can handle it. He said he had a lot of stuff to tell us about Bob Hamilton, but for the time being, he keep it under his cap.
I know you want to leave me.
Yeah, that's true. 567. Oh, there's Joe Biden.
Just to play baseball with you, like
baseball analogies. Oh God, what caca, what crap. You know, people's lives are hinging on a balance. This jackass is going to be the Chief Justice for the next 100 years, and they're like everything's a big joke with Joe Biden. Hey Joe, I take back what I said. He sucks. Ted Kennedy for dictator is what I say.
Oh! Well, chow down.
Tony's great. So he was a little, he got drunk. It happens to the best of them. At least he wasn't diddling around with these chicks. And, okay, like I said, he was. White and black Americans view Hurricane Katrina's aftermath in starkly different ways, with more blacks viewing race as a factor and problems with the federal response, according to a CNN USA Today Gallup poll released yesterday. The poll found that 6 out of 10 blacks interviewed said the federal government was slow in rescuing those stranded in New Orleans after Katrina because many of the people in Louisiana City were black. And you know something? Those black people are right for a change. They were wrong about O.J., they were wrong about Michael Jackson, but they're right on something that's a lot more important. Only 1 in 8 white respondents shared that view. All you crackers. The numbers were similar on whether the rescues were slower because the victims were poor, with 63% of the blacks blaming poverty, only 21% of whites doing so. The poll based on interviews, well, I don't want to go through the whole thing. In a separate survey on Katrina reaction that was not broken down by race, a majority of those interviewed said they disapproved of the president's handling of the disaster. Disasters are us. That should be the big sign on the White House. Disasters be us. According to the poll broken down by race, blacks were more likely to blame Bush for problems in New Orleans, with 37% holding him most to blame for the fact that many residents were trapped inside the city after it flooded. 20% of blacks primarily blamed Mayor Ray Nagin, 11% blamed the residents themselves, and 27% blamed nobody at all. Let's play the blame game, which is a good idea. Like that column the other day, play the blame game. It's a good time for it. Point the finger.
Okay.
At all of them. Including that bitch, that governor. Boy, she's another idiot. The hell's her name? Catherine, whatever her name is.
Catherine Harris?
No, you hear about her plane, by the way?
No, what about it?
How you go about this. And so, let me get right to it.
Okay, well, how about it, Joe? He's just biding his time. 567-0560. Oh, guess what we got going on here right now? The film festival. Did you know that? The Toronto Film Festival, which is one of the real biggies. Got all those superstars here in town. Man, they were lined up to see Madonna the other day. I wouldn't walk across the street to see that bitch. In fact, I'd probably walk the other way.
Yeah, I'd walk across the street to get away from her.
Yeah. I could probably smell her if she was over there.
I'm sure.
Jake Gyllenhaal. Now, what was the movie he was in? He was in a couple of movies.
Yeah. I don't know. Josh.
He was in the one that had promise, but the ending was really bad, which you hate like poison. I got it right in the other room. During the break, I'll go in there and I'll see what it was. You don't know what it is?
No, but we're going to IMDb him.
Jake Gyllenhaal and Heath Ledger weren't drawn to Brokeback Mountain, the story of 2 cowboys involved in a homosexual relationship, by the movie's risky subject matter. The controversy may rise. I wonder which one was riding the side saddle. In fact, said Gyllenhaal, those aspects of the script worked against his decision to do the film. I read the story, heard about it as the gay cowboy movie, and I immediately responded against that, he said at a press conference for the film at the Toronto Film Festival Saturday. But as soon as I heard director Ang Lee, how do you say that? Ang? I don't know who that is.
Ang, I do.
As soon as I heard director Ang Lee was attached, is he kin to like Pinky Lee, Bruce Lee, Peggy Lee, or maybe Brenda Lee? I knew it would be a different type of movie that would go beyond the confines of 2 guys and their sexuality toward the more difficult topic of love. Ooh. Ledger agreed. First and foremost, when I read the script, it was one of the most beautiful stories I ever read. He said it's really refreshing to come across something like that. So far, viewers have agreed Brokeback Mountain, based on a story by shipping news author E.N.E. Proulx, won the Golden Lion at the Venice Film Festival Saturday, the festival's top award, and has earned acclaim in Toronto. Oh, it's a gay movie that earned acclaim in Toronto. I can't imagine why. The film is slated for U.S. release December 9. The film, which begins in the early 60s, concerns two young men, Ennis Delmar, Ledger, and Jack Twist, Gyllenhaal, as in twist this. Maybe he does the twist. Who are hired to tend sheep for a summer in Wyoming. And find themselves attracted to each other. Well, at least they didn't find themselves attracted to the sheep. Thank God for that.
Movie. I saw the previews of that at the theater the other day.
And
it looked really not
They continue to meet with each other over the years, even after their lives have gone in different directions. Asked a question about the U.S. gay marriage controversy, the two actors said they hope the film shows a gay relationship in a matter-of-fact, unsensational light, and that it contributes to tolerance. If it does shed light on the idea that there's real love involved, it's great, said Gyllenhaal. When two people love each other, they love each other, period. And people should hold on as hard as they can. I try to, whether it's homosexual or heterosexual. Gyllenhaal added the actor's own friendship and the quality of the script by novelist Larry McMurdy of Lonesome Dove fame and Diana Osana. Is she kin to Osama bin Laden? Helped them do the love scenes. Oh, no. Once you see the characters do it, our real friendship and the things we share together make it kind of easy to play the role of real friends, he said. And the screen sex, we just kind of dove into the love scenes and dove out again as fast as we could. He paused to some laughter, and that was it. They dove in and dove out, is what he's saying.
Rectum.
Director Lee's previous films include Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, The Ice Storm, Sense and Sensibility, and The Hulk. The Hulk!
Well, we won't blame him for that.
And The Hunk.
Or I will. So I got a list of his movies here. I don't know which one is the one that you're talking about.
Jake Gyllenhaal. You can read them.
Well, he was in The Day After Tomorrow, which I'm sure you didn't see.
No.
Proof, The Man Who Walked Between the Towers, Moonlight Mile, Highway, The Good Girl, Lovely Amazing, Bubble Boy, Donnie Darko.
No. Donnie Darko.
Donnie Darko, okay.
I mean, I've seen a couple other movies he's been in, but Donnie Darko, which was fine until the ending, and the ending just
I'm
he
supposed
died.
to see that anyway. Oh, okay. Well, thanks.
Oh, that's right. Don't watch it. He died.
I don't have to.
Because the lightning came through the ceiling or whatever the hell it was, and he died. He was afraid he was going to die, and he did.
Oh. All right,
so look at all the time I just saved. You can watch the Motown movie again twice now instead of wasting your time on that crap.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 AM.
This is G. Gordon Liddy, and they don't come any worse than Neil Rogers.
Absolutely.
Having my baby, what a lovely way of proving we're a real couple. Having my baby, yeah, even though your age is nearly mine double.
You fairy.
I know you want another bun in the oven. The one thing you don't want is another husband. But you're having my baby.
I'm a woman in love, and I love having morning sickness. Having my baby. And I'm not talking about how I feel about Bruce Willis.
Your three daughters think I'm their brother. Whoa, it almost feels like I'm shacking up with my mother. Are you sure that we oughta be having my baby? What a lovely way of proving we are both nuts. Having my baby.
I'll tell you one thing, he's sure losing it real fast, but that's the way it goes. It's 12:33, 27:01 at QAM. Did FEMA buy votes for Bush? Asked William Fisher of the Interpress Service. You're not going to read another article, are you? Yeah. In fact, I got a real pile here, okay? Oh, before I do this one, this is heavy-duty stuff about Brownie, Remember old Brownie?
Yeah, he's doing a great job, I heard.
Great job, Brownie. And they keep showing that clip. I love it. Joe Biden, by the way, is doing a hell of a job grilling old John Roberts.
In different states.
There you go. Before I get to that other thing, I told this to Hank this morning. He wasn't aware of this story. I thought Hank would read the Daily News and the New York Post, although when you get up early in the morning like he's having to do now, you don't have a lot of time to read 8,000 newspapers. An SUV driven by former New York Jet star Joe Klecko struck and killed a homeless man pushing a shopping cart on the Major Deegan Expressway last night, police be saying. Klecko, the only player ever voted to the Pro Bowl 3 times at different positions, couldn't see the victim until it was too late because the car in front of him was in the way, they said, unlike the Rick Sanchez incident. A high-ranking police officer said Klecko stopped his 2005 Chevy Suburban immediately and waited for cops to arrive. You can see he was shaken. He's very upset, but he's cooperating fully, he said, adding this is a tragic accident. He said Klecko volunteered for a breathalyzer test, which showed no booze in the system. He wasn't cited. Accident occurred about 10 o'clock around 233rd Street near the city line. The victim, tentatively identified as J. Peterson, 56. Oh, I hope he's not related to Pat Peterson. Now, let's see. I'm getting people confused. Let's see. Pat Peterson, was he the one from Knots Landing, or who was it? Pat Peterson who sang the song My Dad, who was from the Robert Reed, Donna Reed show? Who's that?
I'll check about the song, but I don't know from Knots Landing.
Yeah, you do. Was pushing a shopping cart on the southbound shoulder. See, first of all, you shouldn't be pushing a shopping cart, a pushki, on a highway. Not a good idea. When he suddenly veered on the roadway in front of a car. They said the car swerved around a man, but Klecko, who was behind in the same lane, didn't have time to avoid the victim. Peterson, been released from St. Joe's Hospital in Yonkers early in the day. It was unclear why he was hospitalized. Probably from hearing those race calls of Bullet Bob Meyer at Yonkers. Do you have any idea what I'm talking about? I sure don't.
No, but I got my Peterson straightened out.
And Pat Peterson was on Knots Landing.
Okay.
No.
Ray Peterson sang some songs. And
no,
Scott,
it wasn't Ray
Scott
Peterson.
Killed his pregnant wife.
Well, we know that. What about Grace Nancier?
Who?
Oh, man. Did FEMA buy vote? Now, who's the Peterson, the song My Dad? Who sang that? Because he was on the Donna Reed. Look up the Donna Reed show. Do a Google on that. What's the cast?
Okay.
Huh?
Trying to sneeze here.
And not that this is important. My Dad. What a cornball song that was. Pat Peterson was on Knots Landing. This is important stuff, by the way. It's important in life that you get your Peterson straightened out. When in doubt, straighten that baby out. We got over 500 votes. That was our poll today. So if you want to vote on the poll, fine. If not, bye-bye.
Paul Peterson was on the Donna
Paul
Reed
Peterson, that is correct, was on the Donna Reed show and sang My Dad. That was a bad song. He was, he was on TV, you know. As Brownie resigned his post as head of FEMA yesterday following a relentless beating in the press for his mismanagement of Katrina relief effort and rescue efforts, details on FEMA's past missteps began emerging. When in doubt, they're starting to come out. Possibly the most egregious of these largely underreported fiascos was the revelation that FEMA made $31 million in questionable payments to residents of Florida's Dade County for damage from Hurricane Francis in September of 2004, even though the storm caused only minimal damage in that area, as we well know. J. Robert Hunter, Director of Insurance for the Consumer Federation of America, was a top federal flood insurance official in the 70s and 80s, said that the Francis overpayments are questionable given the timing of the election and Florida's importance as a battleground state. Hunter was Texas Insurance Commissioner in the 90s under then Governor Ann Richards, a Democrat. Homeland Security sources said after the hurricane that Brown and his allies promoted him as a successor to Tom Ridge as Homeland Security Secretary because of their contention that he helped deliver Florida to President Bush by efficiently responding to the Florida hurricanes. That's the storms, not the football team. According to a report by the Department of Homeland Security's Inspector General, more than $8 million was given to 4,300 people to rent temporary housing, even though they hadn't asked for the money, and in many cases their homes were almost completely undamaged by the storm. Your tax dollars hard at work. The Inspector General's report was made public last May at a hearing of the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee. The committee's chairperson, the very whiny Senator Susan Collins, Maine Republican. I mean, she's like a character of herself. Do you ever see her speak?
No.
Susan Collins said FEMA paid to replace thousands of TVs, air conditioners, beds, and other furniture, as well as a number of cars without receipts or proof of ownership or damage, and based solely on verbal statements by the residents, sometimes made in fleeting encounters at fast food restaurants. Oh, I lost my 2005 Corvettes, all three of them, by the way. Send me a check. Okay.
You're very whiny.
It was a pay first, ask questions later approach, Collins said, the whiny Susan Collins. She said the Inspector General's report identifies a number of significant control weaknesses that create a potential for widespread fraud, enormous payments, and wasteful practices. State officials described the damage there from Hurricane Francis. Heavy rain and winds up to 45 miles an hour is minimal. Minimal. Brown defended his agency at a Senate hearing. He said FEMA mistakenly paid out only a handful of undeserving claims, made some other bureaucratic errors. A college roommate of FEMA's previous director with little emergency preparedness experience, Brown was replaced last week by Coast Guard officer to head the agency's role in directing the Katrina relief effort. Commenting on FEMA's performance during Hurricane Katrina, Bo Grosscup, professor of international relations at Cal State University at Chico, told IPS, how about Chico and the Man? That was a bad show. Told IPS it was another lesson in the class and political nature of homeland insecurity. Homeland insecurity. The Inspector General said his office started investigating the matter after the Sun-Sentinel in Fort Lauderdale published articles alleging that FEMA massively overpaid many Dade residents after Francis, and we're not talking about Francis O'Hare. The IG said one case of overpayment involved $10 million that was used to replace household items in Dade, partly because of a nationwide FEMA policy requiring that the replacement cost of a large bedroom suite be paid even though only a bed is damaged. Homeland Security sources said at the time that FEMA's effort to distribute funds quickly after Francis and 3 other hurricanes that hit the key political battleground state of Florida were undertaken with an eye on the upcoming 2004 presidential election. The IG said reports said program controls for the administration of FEMA funds needed to be tightened and that additional guidelines and criteria were needed to ensure the agency's overall effectiveness. Some of the other findings include, wait till you hear these. FEMA awarded $10.2 million to repair or replace household room items for Dade County residents. However, the procedures used by FEMA to award funds for those items didn't limit assistance to only disaster-related losses as required by federal law. FEMA awarded over $720,000 to 220 applicants for personal property items based on their verbal representation of their losses. Contract inspectors were not required to validate how damages to automobiles were disaster-related. The amount authorized for auto replacement, especially for older vehicles, was generally far in excess of the market replacement cost or an amount needed to acquire comparable transportation. FEMA awarded $192,000 plus for miscellaneous items to applicants in Dade County based only upon the verification that such items were purchased, not whether a disaster-related need existed. Keep your old receipts. As of February this year, FEMA awarded $13.1 million to Dade applicants for rental assistance and home repair and replacement. FEMA provided $82,000 plus an expedited assistance to 114 applicants who were not or may not even have been eligible. Those applicants reportedly had insurance, didn't report a need for housing, or reported that their homes were not damaged. Overall, more timely reviews of inspections might have prevented approximately $24.4 million of ineligible or excessive payments that FEMA has made throughout the U.S. and its territories from August of last year to February of this year. Meanwhile, Representative Henry Waxman, top Democrat on the House of Representatives Appropriations Committee, warned against authorizing government to raise the micro-purchase threshold from $15,000 to $250,000 for purchases relating to the relief and recovery from Hurricane Katrina. In a letter to the committee chairman, California Republican Jerry Lewis, "Hey, lady," Waxman said raising this threshold would mean that any federal employee with a government-issued credit card could buy up to $250,000 in goods or services in a single purchase. There would be no limit to the number of such purchases. The federal response to Hurricane Katrina has been woefully inadequate to date. We should not now compound these problems by creating a situation which will inevitably lead to further waste, fraud, and abuse, he wrote. That's your government, baby. Waste, fraud, and abuse it.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Oh, my God.
Lord even loves Neil Rogers.
Absolutely.
He always gets in trouble, then he gets another chance. He drinks a lot and then he does the naked chicken dance. He'll start a fight on any night because he's lost his mind. If they did a lobotomy, not one brain cell they find. Well, Doc Gooden has demons that he's battled all his life. One time he tried to cut his own hair with a butter knife. His problems cost him millions when he was playing baseball, 'cause he filled up his body with cocaine and alcohol. The latest chapter in the book of life for Dr. K took place one early morning while driving in FLA. The cops spotted his vehicle swerving, and so they knew they either had a drunk driver or stopped Mr. Magoo. And then Dwight hid in the night, his drunken ride. He tried to hide, but he couldn't win. He turned himself in and spent the night in jail. He's such a pussy, just plain up. Is this the final nail? It's hard to feel bad for the guy. We've seen this all before. He cries and asks forgiveness, and then he comes back for more. Perhaps this time the public shouldn't give Dwight a pass. Maybe what he needs most is a good split kick in the ass.
Rectum.
1248 at 560 WQAM. We got 500 and some odd, 24 votes on that? It's pretty weak. If we can't make 700 today, I'm thinking early retirement for Josh.
Say that. Yeah, I'm thinking that too.
Yeah. Early retirement for Josh if we can't get 700 votes during the show today. I mean, I didn't even push it because this is like universal. Bad TV shows, there's only about 80 trillion of them, and we sure got a good list on there for you to choose from. Schlemiel, Schlemazel. You know, we could put some more on there, too, although we haven't had a whole bunch of... Wouldn't you thought we had hundreds of faxes today on that?
Get a thunking.
Yeah. The worst TV show of all time. That's from the early 50s, from the last 55 years, for Christ's sakes. What is wrong with these people?
Jesus Christ.
You've done this one before. Well, guess what? Get ready for a lot of other polls that we've done before.
Yeah.
In fact, we're going back to the beginning and starting with... Eric's got that list. It's on here somewhere.
Yeah, what's your favorite 80s
I got
song?
it. What?
What's your favorite 80s song?
Yeah, what's your favorite 90s song? That's the gay 90s. 45 bodies found at New Orleans hospital. The bodies of 45 patients have been found at a flooded-out hospital. State officials said yesterday, amid otherwise encouraging signs, large and small, that New Orleans is climbing back 2 weeks after it was slammed by the hurricane. The bodies were found Sunday at 317-bed Memorial Medical Center, which was abandoned more than a week ago after it was surrounded by floodwaters. Now, I just mentioned this in passing. The story that I mentioned yesterday, which I notice has now made it onto the commondreams.org website. I'm not going to bother putting it on again because we had it on ours yesterday, didn't we? I think we did.
I think we did.
New Orleans doctors, we had to kill our patients. And Josh, by the way, is getting really nervous if we don't get those 700 votes on that poll, for crying out loud. But, this town, you have to beat them and whip them and hit them. What is wrong with the people? We've got at least 2 million people listening right now. Oh, and by the way, Tom, we have over 1,000 people listening to the show from all around the world online. I started asking you that before. About the domain thing?
Yeah.
We got people like listening in Saudi Arabia, in Costa Rica, in Netherlands, in places you wouldn't believe online. Places you wouldn't believe. Sweden, Mars. They're listening on Uranus. Tom, that's because they don't like the show. It's because I'm shallow. A lot of shallow people out there, and I can relate to them. Doctors, so anyway, the story from yesterday, doctors working in hurricane-ravaged New Orleans killed critically ill patients rather than leaving them to die in agony as they evacuated hospitals. The Daily Mail on Sunday. The Mail on sale at Brit Paper can reveal, it says, with gangs of rapists and looters rampaging through wards in a flooded city, senior doctors took the harrowing decision to give massive overdoses of morphine to those they believed could not make it out alive. In an extraordinary interview with the Mail on Sunday, one New Orleans doctor told how she prayed for God to have mercy on her soul after she ignored every tenet of medical ethics and ended the lives of patients she had earlier fought to save. So I have a feeling, I could be wrong, but I have a feeling that some of these bodies that they're going to find behind are the people that had to be, put to sleep, to use a delicate term. Isn't that a nice term?
Yeah, that's nice.
Put to sleep, as opposed to like euthanasia. Although the Pope says he'd like to find some euthanasia. That's why he keeps traveling around the world. That's why he probably went to Cologne. I can understand why the Pope likes Cologne, man. All the popes. I can get that. Oh, man. Wow. If you ever went to Cologne, Germany, you'd go on the Hohestrasse there and you'd take one look around and you'd say, you know what you'd say?
Oh, my God.
That's exactly what you'd say. You have never seen people who look like that. Male, female, some I'm not too sure, but wow. Well-dressed, upscale, beautiful. That's where the beautiful people are, the beautiful young people. That's why the Pope was there.
Speaking of people.
Probably picking some new Swiss guard, yes?
I don't know what you think of Jude Law.
What I think of him? He's a good actor. Are you, as far as sexually, you mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Oh, well, I just sent you a naked picture of him for what it's worth.
I already seen it.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
What the hell was the movie he was in where he, shows his goods? I'm trying to think of what movie that was.
This is paparazzi, so this is not a...
Yeah. See, like I told you yesterday, I'm just... It means nothing to me. If there was a picture of Tom Brady in a turgid state, it's not interesting to me,
Alabama?
Huh?
Mississippi?
I'm just telling you. Oh, by the way, turgidity is illegal in Pompano. Right.
It's just a conversation piece.
So it's on our website?
No.
Oh, that's right. We can't put it on our website. Sorry. Because we don't know how old he is. Oh, no. That is bad. Jude Law naked. There's some movie he was in where he, swinging it. I can't think of what it is. The worst TV show of all time, Anna Nicole. I'm just going to read a few of the ones that got, double digit, because it's really ponderous. Anna Nicole, 91. Throwing Up Gotti, 69. Horrible show. Just brutal. Rosie O'Donnell Show, 54. Jerry Springer, 40. A show for morons. American Idol, 33. Cop Rock's got...
About 30, man.
I mean, Jerry Springer's okay once. Watch it once. That's all you need to watch.
Really?
Hee Haw, 28. Fear Factor, 25. Oprah, 23. A show for female morons. The View. The only difference being that the people that watch Oprah, the women who watch that crap, they think that it's for real, see? They're into it.
Yeah.
Oh, she's so wonderful, and she's solving all of society's ills, and she's doing so much for the poor people, and she's giving away cars. Yeah. Dukes of Hazzard, 16. The Brady Bunch Hour, 10. My Mother the Car, 10. And Joni Love. I'll do one single digit. Joni loves Chachi. Look at the way he spelled Joni. Jony. No wonder we don't have enough votes. 548 in the Sunshine State. That's bad. We're never going to get to 700. And then Josh is going to have to take early retirement, not just from this show, but from the Marlin games. Because Roxy heard the things you said about him sounding like Geldy.
I'll take early retirement if you...
What is it with all these sportscasters with these bad voices? I know there's like a new sound.
Roxy doesn't sound like Geldy.
The hell he doesn't. He's got a squeaky voice. He sounds like a little girl.
It's a little high, but it ain't guilty.
Yeah, it's a little bit high. It's high and outside, ball two.
Like a bunch of little kids doing ball games now. As a matter of fact, I was channel surfing on the package there with all the ball games on the other day, and I came across whatever game Joe Buck was doing. Now, Joe Buck is good. He's not great. He's overrated. But I thought to myself, oh, thank God for Joe Buck. I was so relieved to hear a good voice. And it's not only some of the new punks that are on there, but like, what's the kid's name? Kenny Albert, which sounds like he's got 40 pounds of mush in his mouth or something like mush. Just so many really bad broadcasters. See, this is what's happened now with the networks trying to, cover 80 million games. They can't do it. Between CBS and Fox, they can't do it. Horrible people doing ball games. And then, of course, you got those color guys like that Buck Showalter. I said that Boog might as well taken a nap in that game last week. Buck Martinez, whichever Buck it was, some dumb Buck.
Martinez.
Buck Martinez, my ass. What happened to the great, you know what I'm saying? I know we're living in the past, all of us old farts. People who had personality, people who were dynamic, you know what I'm saying?
What are you saying?
I'm saying these guys suck.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
No, this is Arnold. This is not a tumor. It's the 1 to 2 hour.
Hawaii at last. Now you can get a little peace and quiet here.
Hiya, Mo.
What are you doing here in Honolulu?
When I heard you were here, I flew right over and dressed up like Connie Stevens, just for you.
Well, you're forcing me to do this. Hey, how about a nice Hawaiian punch?
Sure.
Doi, doi, doi. Doi, doi. Doi, doi, doi. Doi, doi, doi,
Doi. 102, the Mo Maestro will be here at 2 o'clock. Mad Dog at 4, then we got the big, that's right, Hurricane Hotline at 7. Forget about that. Marlins on deck at 7:30. The Marlins at the Astros. Now, what's the name of that stadium? Obviously, the Astrodome ain't the place no more. We know that because they got refugees there. Evacuees. What's the name of the place where they play, Josh?
Minute Maid.
Minute Maid what? Minute Maid lemonade?
Right, orange juice.
No, I know what Minute Maid is. I was drinking Minute Maid before you were born, okay, hotshot?
I'm sure.
Yeah, you wouldn't know Minute Maid Stadium from Uranus. Anyway, the Marlins are playing the Astros. Craig Biggio just celebrated his 55th birthday. You don't look too bad. Okay, so what do we got here? Josh is under a lot of pressure. I don't see them coming through for you like they do for us. 563. You better get with it, mister. I think you're right on the edge of extinction.
I'm okay.
Remember what happened to your predecessor? You're going to be hanging out. You talk about changing addresses a lot. You're going to be hanging it under the overpass.
Hola.
Maybe you can move in with a Beanhead boy.
Get some of that good NyQuil.
563 votes is pretty weak on a big, high-paid show like this. If we can't crack 700, how are we ever going to get to 1,000? Huh?
You said crack.
Oh, so this is interesting. Actually, it's not over with. A rowdy sunspot cluster hurled a record-breaking flare into space last Wednesday. Now, the reason this is significant to me, and I never told you this, was last week I went out and I bought me a new, in fact, I had it delivered from Office Depot. I had a new printer.
Okay.
And fax and whatever. Well, to make a long story short, I tried to hook it up, and I had all kinds of problems. So a friend of mine here who's a computer analyst, so he had to help me, and I'm trying to get a hold of him on my BlackBerry all day long, and I kept getting, what do they call that? Packet error, they call it?
Okay, yes.
And it's like a little orange cross. It looks like an evil, like an exorcist got in there. Mm-hmm. And all day long, and I'm wondering, what the hell is this all about? Because usually only get that when somebody is in, like a building that's like a lot of steel and like in a stadium. blacking out all high and low frequency radio communications on both American continents, causing power surges, blinding satellites, and lighting up aurorae. And more trouble is on the way, the experts say. How do you like that?
Oh, my God.
You see, first we had the tsunami. That people didn't get it. Then we had the big Hurricane Katrina. People didn't get it. Now we got solar flares because God is trying to send you a message. Don't you understand?
It's the end of days.
That's right. Just like Joey Zaza. Going to send you a message. A massive initial X-ray flare on September 7th was immediately followed by an eruption of solar material that broke free from the sun at a speed of 5.8 million miles an hour. The speediest seen in 20 years of observations by the National Center for Atmospheric Research High Altitude Observatory in Hawaii. You know who used to live in Hawaii? Raymond Burr.
Gay. Yeah.
And what's his name? Also Tom Selleck.
Gay.
Isn't that where the show was filmed? Magnum PU, I believe?
That's right.
You like that show?
I never watched an episode.
Oh, my God. Are you lucky?
I thought we knew each other. It's a copy.
Earth and near-Earth space was first hit with X-rays, followed by an ongoing magnetic storm and hard radiation. Oh, my God. The sunspot cluster causing all the trouble was just coming around the edge of the sun last week. Now, it's rotated with the sun into better view and is showing no signs of calming down, said Larry Combs, a space weather forecaster with the National Oceanic and Space Administration Space Environment Center. This particular region of the sun is just now reaching the center of the sun, Combs said. It's now just getting into the bullseye. Power systems in the northern U.S. and Canada reported electrical surges on Thursday, said Combs, caused by the magnetic pulse from the solar eruption interacting with the Earth's magnetic field, essentially turning the planet into a gigantic electrical generator. Strong northern lights, or aurora, were seen as far south as Arizona over the weekend, another sign of ongoing powerful geomagnetic storm. Maybe the sun's about to crap out. So it'd be nice knowing you. I better get over to Woodbine fast.
Do it.
5670560, pound 560. Now, how are we coming on at 57? I don't think you're going to make it, man. Be nice knowing you, Josh. Josh Cordes hangs up his microphone on QAM 572. We need 128 votes in 54 minutes. That's 2.5 a minute to keep this young man's job, to keep his sanity, keep his self-respect.
Listen, I'm okay with retiring if you increase those checks, a little bit.
If you retire, that means no more internets. No more bedtime stories.
Doesn't he get those tickets, too?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, and speaking of those tickets, I'm glad you mentioned that. Come to find out, that I already got paid for that back in April.
Oh, right. Sorry, Josh.
So you lose. No ticket, no ticky, no washy, no nothing. Because, I had a choice. I could have either taken some crappy tickets that they would have come up with somewhere, or they're going to give me the cash that I have coming. I said, I'll take the cash, thank you. And I'm sure Norma said the same. Well, Norma. Oh, speaking of Norma, a fragile coalition of lawmakers cobbled together to support an anti-gay marriage amendment last year has collapsed in Boston, in Massachusetts, virtually guaranteeing same-sex marriage will remain legal in Massachusetts, at least for right now. A poll of lawmakers conducted by the Associated Press has found at least 104 who plan to vote against the amendment when it comes up for a second vote tomorrow. That's enough to defeat the measure, which would also create civil unions. How do you like that? Civil unions, all those, in Massachusetts. And in California, too, they could have done a thing. That would have been a marriage. But Arnold said, no way, because we don't like those girly men in California. And you know what happens when you piss off the girly men in California? You don't get reelected, Arnold.
What, they got fags there in California?
4 or 5. 570 what? That's pretty weak. I'm telling you right now, we got some real problems. 576. I could do better than that blindfolded, okay? We could do better than that with a ball game starting at 11:30. Let's try that tomorrow. 5670560. We need a lot more shows on this list, obviously. Maybe that's why we're not getting the tremendous response that we ought to be. We ought to have 1,000 on there right now if we had anybody listening. But I guess we don't. Remember those glory days? Wow.
Oh, yeah.
We used to get this euphoric. Of course, that's when we had those naked pictures on there, too. Different story. Line 9 is the only one ringing. QAM. Like I said, get a lot more of these calls on here for little Tommy. 5670560, pound 560 in the Verizon and Singular Wireless lines. Are we still on the air or what? I think we're off. Then, of course, you got to think about that 8-minute delay, too. A long caravan of white vans led by an Army Humvee rolled yesterday through a New Orleans Bywater district, a poor, mostly black neighborhood northeast of the French Quarter. Recovery team members wearing white protective suits and black boots stopped at houses spray-painted with markings on the doors designated that there were dead bodies inside. Outside one house on Kentucky Street, a member of the Army 82nd Airborne summoned a reporter and photographer standing nearby and told them that if they took pictures or wrote a story about the body recovery process, he would take away their press credentials and kick them out of the state. No photos, no stories, said the man wearing camouflage fatigues and a red beret. On Saturday, after being challenged in court by CNN, the Bush administration agreed not to prevent the news media from following the effort to recover bodies of Hurricane Katrina victims. But yesterday in the Bywater district, that assurance wasn't being followed. The 82nd Airborne soldier told reporters the Army had a policy that requires media to be 300 meters, more than 3 football fields in length, away from the scene of body recoveries in New Orleans. If reporters wrote stories or took pictures of body recoveries, they would be reported and face consequences, he said, including a loss of access for up-close coverage of certain military operations. Dean Nugent of the Louisiana State Coroner's Department, who accompanied the soldier, added that it wasn't safe to be in Bywater. They'll kill you out here, he said, referring to the few residents who have continued to defy mandatory evacuation orders and remain in their homes. How do you like that? No ticky, no washy, no pictures. And look at that phone. Ooh. Huh? I was just beginning to wonder if it was like a malfunction at the junction or what. So I guess they're out of material. So I'll just continue through my pile, which I have a long way to go here. Is that possible? Have we reached that moment?
Out of material?
Have we reached that crossroads in the history of South Florida talk radio when the day the music died, the second day back on a full schedule, 582, and we're not going to make the 700 even? There's something strange going on right now. Maybe it's the sunspots, or maybe it's the ink spots.
Yeah.
567. I'm going to give it one more shot, then I'm going to my pile, okay? Because this is embarrassing and humiliating and degrading to me. 5670560, pound 560 in the Verizon and singular wireless line. Don't you find something amiss here, something bizarre?
It is bizarre.
And the only one keeps ringing is that line 9.
Well, you better make most of it.
Well, no, I'm not. Oh, see, that's the problem.
Well, hopping.
The phone's not working.
Not again. How can that be?
QAM.
Neil.
Yes, sir. See, it's not ringing. There are people on there, but there's, yes, sir.
Hey, how's it going?
Okay.
Spousal arousal, that bit you've been playing forever and ever.
Yeah.
Have you or George gotten sent the doctored version on the internet?
The doctored version.
They have the same woman who's responding to the phone call. You know, I have the boss calling.
Right. Right.
And they have a guy. The dialogue from the guy is almost the same, but you can just tell after listening to it a million times that it's a little bit different. And then at the end, when she says, "Now, I don't feel so bad about banging his brother."
Right.
And then they have these two DJs whose voices pop up and say, "Oh no, I'm sorry. Hold on. Oh, sorry, Mrs. However and ever. It's a practical joke, and your husband put us up to this, and he's on the other line listening," as if it was like, now you just admitted to it.
I don't get it. What website is this on?
Somebody sent it to me. Somebody sent it to me like a week ago, and I don't know where it came from. And I responded back to them, "Where the heck did you get that from?" And I just said, it's a cheap ripoff. Neil's been playing this for like at least 10
years. For 100 years. Yeah, okay, thanks. The original's always the best. So you see, there's my little experiment. That's the reason that only line 9 is flashing, because lines 1 through 8, which is date and the lines aren't flashing. Are yours flashing?
No, only line 9.
Yeah.
As well.
So
on the main phone, Josh, on the unit itself, not on the computer.
Here we go again.
No,
this is like a throwback 6 years ago, almost 7 years ago, when we were down on the second floor.
I'm going to reset the phone now.
Here we go again. More QAM technical ineptitude, okay? Once again, here we go. I'm sitting here wondering, what is going on? Do we have anybody out there? I'm giving the number, and I'm plodding and pleading and reading and screaming, and come to find out the phone is effed up again. Oh, good golly, Miss Molly. Any similarity between a real radio station and the one you're listening to right now is purely coincidental, okay? We're kind of like the people across the street who said, we're not really interested in being in the broadcasting business. Well, guess what? Join the club. Oh, wow. Is this scary or what? Good thing I started punching those up. Because I remember the previous time it happened, I thought to myself, it was like that skit on SCTV, the guy starts using every 4-letter word under the sun. And then he finally, the one line starts ringing, he picks it up, it's a wrong number. That would be like answering line 9. 113 at 560. Oh, get out your Visqueen and your plywood and your the duct tape.
Okay.
There was David Paulson being introduced. When was the last time you really indulged yourself? Weeks ago, months ago, even longer? Dial Mattress and Serta wants you to indulge yourself every night with Serta's perfect night mattress line. Right now, when you call 1-800-MATTRESS, you can save up to $900 off the Dial Mattress factory direct prices. The perfect night features Serta's highest coil counts, finest quilting, and memory foam for the ultimate in comfort. The Serta sale is for a limited time. You're going to save on all sizes and comfort levels while supplies last. Just dial 1-800-MATTRESS and get delivery within a 2-hour window that you choose. Chances are they have the mattress you want in the size and comfort level you're looking for, ready for same-day delivery, as in even today. Dial Mattress continues to be ranked number 1 in the world in customer satisfaction, one of the many reasons that I've been using them for a long time, and George uses them, and Mo and Miguel, and even the disgusting Fat Boy, just a few of the QAMers who are satisfied customers, and I guarantee you, I'll bet you Fat Boy's life on it you will be too. Don't put it off another second. Call 1-800-MATTRESS right now and replace that soggy, nasty, worn-out old mattress, or just do your mattress shopping on their website, mattress.com. Call today. Be sleeping like a baby as soon as tonight. Call 1-800-MATTRES. Leave off the last S because it stands for sensational, stupendous savings.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
And they look like women.
Your Federal Communications Commission, formerly comprised of broadcast engineers, but now your overlords of decency, is pleased to announce our new FCC morality queen. Yeah, I mean chief. No, she's the queen. And the real church lady, Penny Nance.
This country was founded on good Christian values, which isn't true, but we say it was now. The shield, canceled. Family Guy, canceled. Again, Rupert, you are hereby ordered to fill out additional airtime with pro-Bush propaganda. HBO, Showtime, Cinemax, Stars of you're all off the air, to be replaced by the Trinity Network. Trinity meaning the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Not a ghost like Casper, but a real ghost. Oh, that reminds me. Leave those stupid plumber guys on till they find the Holy Ghost. Not ghost like Boo, but the Holy Spirit himself. My white, blue-eyed Jesus. I want to cleanse his feet. Foot fetishes are hereby approved. We're burning books, too, starting with The Wizard of Oz. We Christians have always hated that book for the longest time now. Something about a gay prison or something, and we'll have you believe gay people caused 9/11. Although I did like Irreversible. Oh, Tanya, oh, Tanya, oh, Tanya, that, you're Jesus Manila.
I wonder if Peggy Nance in your pants, I wonder if she's related to Grace Nancier. You know, Josh, I don't want to break the bad news to you, but it's been nice knowing you. This is so tragic. 606, you need 94 votes in 40 minutes. There is no chance that's going to happen.
Hey, remember last time you doubted and we got to our goal?
Yeah.
You never know.
Goal my ass. 608, you need 92 in 40 minutes. It just, and I can understand if this was like some poll that a lot of people couldn't relate to. Is there anybody out there that don't watch TV, that has never watched bad TV shows? No, of course not.
Don't forget our Amish audience, come on.
And the Amish audience out there that is listening on their Crystal radio, or maybe just Crystal has got the radio turned up real loud and they're sitting outside your house.
Using my internet connection, I'm sure.
I just don't understand this, man. It's just, remember those glorious days, you know? Maybe all of us just ought to hang it up, huh? They can put some stupid-ass sports show on here.
Oh, they can't wait.
They? You mean the powers that pee? I'm sure of that. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of people in that building, just like grasshoppers, rubbing their hind legs together, you know what? Yeah. Look at that Bush approval. Oh, man, it's bad. There's Bill Schneider. He's got a scowl on his face like, oh, the Bushmeister.
For what happened with regard to response to Hurricane Katrina.
Well, he is trying to take charge now because the polls show a sharp drop in the president's ratings on leadership. Take a look at this. The number of people who call him a strong and decisive leader, always his most admired quality. That was 60% in August. 2 weeks later, it's dropped to 52.
Oh, my God.
That's his lowest rating on leadership ever. Lower even than before 9/11.
Good. Excellent. Keep dropping, man. Keep it down to about 3%. The deaf, dumb, and blind. Now, see, I wasn't really going to care about this, thinking it's my own fault because I said earlier when we got to 500, I said, if you want to vote fine on the poll, we don't really care. That was a bad thing to say. That was like maybe a personal shot at Josh just for the fact that, you know, like on Sunday he got, what day was it? You got the stories on there about 3 in the afternoon?
That was last week.
No, I think it was this weekend, Sunday.
3 weeks ago, Sukkot.
Now, he's been doing it. In fact, this morning, I look on there, 8:30 in the morning, he's got a whole bunch of those stories on there already. I thought, what a fantastic job he's doing on there, you know?
Right, all 800 of them.
Wow, that was a comment.
Wow, what a shot! Well, you don't have to worry about the size of that next check. You want to know why?
Why?
Because there ain't going to be any. Oh, you're right. Look at all the stories on there. Oh, that's bad. I'm sorry. I apologize. Those are all from today? Good God.
Well, there's lots of doings that transpired.
Count those, the ones that are on there. I don't think I ever did that. Well, I get carried away. I want to put some good stuff on there, man. I get a little bit carried away. So I promise I won't do that again. I'll count that, how we got on there today. I'll at least undercut it by 2 or 3.
I apologize.
Or 10. But what does that got to do with the fact that if we got that many stories on there, we got to have a lot of people reading them, wouldn't you think? In fact, let's take a look at what's the most, now that we don't have those naked pictures on there. We want naked pictures. Well, we can't put them on there, sorry. Let's take a look at what's the most read story. Bush buddies land fat cat contracts for Katrina. That's a good story. 205, over 200. That's not bad. We only got like 5 stories that got over 100 reads so far. That's a little on the weak side, huh? That's a little weak, quite frankly. Man, one thing about South Florida, just when you think they're right there at your side and you really got, and then you look around. I think it was Tom Jicha that put us behind the 8 ball again. Mm-hmm. Thanks a lot, Tommy, okay, for pointing out the fact that I'm so shallow. That's what did me in. All these years I've been faking my way through, and all of a sudden they discovered, oh, he's really shallow. He's about as deep as a kitchen sink in a small kitchen. 629. You need 71 votes in 36 minutes. Oh, you can do that. That's 2 a minute. You're right. They're just playing with us. You know what I'm saying? They're just teasing us now. That's all. Just a big tease. It's like when you're at the slot machines. You get 5 times Wheel of Fortune blank. And the other one's like in the upper right or the lower. You know what I'm saying?
What are you saying?
I'm saying it's getting pretty ponderous. Okay. And now, who was saying before about the slots, about Batavia Downs, that first caller we had today from Rochester, about they finally got the slots in there and now they're kicking ass? That's what's the salvation of the pari-mutuels. When are we finally going to get that solved? How many years is that going to take in South Florida before they finally get a ruling on that, before the legislature gets off their lazy ass now that the summer's over and it's the 13th of September? Your fat-ass governor once again trying to subvert the will of the electorate, which overwhelmingly passed that in Broward County last time I checked the numbers. Man. But what's the use? I can sit here and scream and get all worked up into a frenzy. The public likes him for whatever reason. They like his fat ass. They like his cokehead daughter. Whatever it is they like. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Smuggling wife.
Is that what it is? Mm-hmm. Columba? They love Columba. They respect the fact that she smuggles her crap in. Robert Shear in the L.A. Times writes, finally fooling none of the people. There's never a terrorist around when you need one. Even a couple of suspicious-looking foreigners playing soccer near the Superdome as Katrina began to make landfall might have done the trick to get this easily distracted president focused. The war on terror is, after all, George W. Bush's obsession, obliterating any other consideration of the nation's well-being. With the terrorist sighting, Bush likely would not have lingered on his Crawford Ranch vacation, which he interrupted only for politicking and fundraising opportunities, nor would Condoleezza Rice have gone shoe shopping while the world witnessed the sorry spectacle of the Gulf Coast in deadly disarray. And surely Donald Rumsfeld, who blithely attended a San Diego Padres game as New Orleans was filling with water, wouldn't have dithered for days before sending in troops to aid desperate Americans. Even if our high officials bother to care about the poor, mostly black victims of Katrina enough to change their schedules, the administration probably would have bungled the relief effort anyway, because FEMA is now run by political hacks appointed by Bush who know zilch about disaster relief. Brownie, you're doing a heck of a job, the president said to Michael Brown a few days before the FEMA chief was relieved of his oversight of the relief efforts after massive public pressure over the agency's response to the hurricane. Brown, who reportedly doctored his unimpressive resume and didn't have a background in emergency management, resigned yesterday. He had secured this plum job because he was a college buddy of his predecessor, Joe Albaugh, who managed Bush's 2000 presidential campaign. So you see, somebody gave wrong information and I passed it along. He wasn't Bush's roommate. He was Joe Albaugh's college roommate. So that definitely made him qualified. During the Clinton years, FEMA was turned into a model of efficiency as demonstrated after the Northridge earthquake and the Oklahoma City bombing. How bizarre then that in the wake of 9/11, the administration handicapped FEMA by axing its cabinet-level status, turning it back into what some call a turkey farm for patronage jobs, and slashing its budget because, as Albaugh complained, it had become an oversized entitlement program. Then there's the fact that the first responder corps has been vastly depleted by Bush's misadventure in Iraq. Visiting New Orleans on Monday, Bush argued that it is preposterous to claim that the engagement in Iraq meant there weren't enough troops to help with hurricane relief. Oh, yeah? Tell that to the nearly 35% of Louisiana's Army and Air National Guard forces and 37% of Mississippi's National Guard troops deployed abroad, mostly in Iraq. Had they been at home and not in Iraq, their expertise and capabilities could have been brought to bear, said Army Lieutenant General H. Stephen Blum, the National Guard Bureau's chief, referring to the critical first hours of the disaster. Unfortunately, what the Bush White House is good at when it comes to national security is providing flash over substance, as Democratic Senator Mary Landrieu of Louisiana found out the hard way. After riding in a helicopter with the president and seeing machinery apparently working on a breached 17th Street levee, she was shocked the next day to find the work mysteriously stopped. Flying over this critical spot again this morning, less than 24 hours later, it became apparent that yesterday we witnessed a hastily prepared stage set for a presidential photo op, and the desperately needed resources we saw this morning were reduced to a single lonely piece of equipment, said the senator in a press release. For far too long, this kind of shenanigan worked well for Bush, allowing him to narrowly win a second term. His administration was asleep at the switch on 9/11, even though the system was blinking red, according to the then CIA chief. Bush grabbed the bullhorn at ground zero, remade himself as a war president, and suffered no real political damage from the failure to either capture Osama or find weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. But as one of this nation's greatest war presidents said, you can't fool all of the people all of the time. With the Iraq war grinding on with no end in sight and the postmortems of the Katrina debacle showing the White House and Homeland Security Department to have been confused and inept as FEMA itself, Bush's support in several national polls has continued a steady plunge below 40%. A Newsweek poll found that for the first time, less than a majority of Americans felt Bush possesses strong leadership qualities, his signature claim to fame. Boy, if they got that right. Said Robert Shear, and we just heard the late number there from, what's his name there on CNN? What's his name? You know, Bill Schneider.
Oh.
Come on, you better get with it, mister. You better get on top of these pundits, man.
I don't watch CNN.
Get with it. Good. 129 at QAM. For years, Armstrong Ford of Homestead has always treated everybody like family. They want to extend an offer for you to join their family. Ford nationally has extended their Ford Family Plan offer through September 6th.
Yeah.
Well, I mean September. Oh, this is maybe the wrong piece of copy. I think it's through the end of this month, okay?
Okay.
And right now at Armstrong Ford of Homestead, you get what are you getting all nervous about? I could just sit here and be silent.
Well, I was across the room getting pizza. I wasn't even in a position to fire something on.
Well, what position do you have to be in for that? Prone?
Yes.
Right now at Armstrong Ford of Homestead, you get the same great pricing that every Ford Motor Company employee and their families get. Not only do you get employee family pricing, you also get Armstrong Ford's exclusive Tires and Batteries for Life program. And for a limited time with any new car purchase, you're going to get a color TV free. With all of these things, what could you possibly be waiting for? Pick up the phone right now and call 305-247-5112. Talk to our friend David Rich. You won't get a better deal on a Ford anywhere. No bait and switch, no phony deals. This fantastic offer is only waiting for you at Armstrong Ford of Homestead, where they always treat you like family. In fact, David says, bring your family to meet our family at Armstrong Ford of Homestead. You'll find them at US 1 at Southwest 307th Street, just 20 minutes south of the 836. You won't get a better deal on a Ford any place else in town. Check them on the web, armstrongcars.com, and then give David a call at 305-247-5112. He'll tell you all about the Ford Family Plan. Drive a few miles extra to save thousands and thousands at Armstrong Ford of Homestead.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
You can't break me ever again. You're off limits to my shapely rear end. And that's a directive issued by choice. And unless, of course, I can pick my own little boys. Now all I got to do is to put a stop to the noise. One more toy out of you and you're on a board. Up and down, inside and out. You better get your mitts off the merchandise now.
You're an old fool. You think you're so cool. Take off your ticket pants so I can hear you say,
I got nothing to lose since my virginity's lost, so give me back my baggy blue shorts. Why, I'll show you who's the boss. Let's get back to this activity of sports.
Only one person I know who can rescue Geldy. You know who it is?
Who?
The great crime fighter, Shaq, 135. Right. You're going to make your 700 now. See, they were just
what did I tell
you?
You just got
and for just a second there, we had 666. And I thought to myself,
oh, my God.
Oh, yeah, maybe it's an Oldman. But now we got 667. See, you need 33 in 24 minutes. You should be able to do that like rolling off a log, you know?
These people don't want to
like
see me go.
Like going into a coma with Dave Van Boring's dulcet tones, putting you to sleep. The Marlins win the World Series. Even Josh admitted that was one of the most embarrassing calls. You don't have to worry, they're out of town anywhere. They're in Houston, so you can rip them an ass for that. It's pretty weak, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that game tonight. It's going to be a good one.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Now, who's pitching tonight?
Beckett.
Josh Beckett's pitching. Who's pitching for the Astros? Are they bringing back some of those old-timers like the guy with the glasses? What was that guy with the glasses?
The guy with the glasses.
Kyle.
Oh, that guy.
Wasn't his name Kyle?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Charles Nelson Riley.
Charles Nelson Riley, Kyle. At any rate, what do you know about the Astros, mister? You could put in a thimble and have room for Craig Biggio's ass left over.
Is that right?
I'm talking to you now.
I'm talking to you, Joe. George, what in Astros? Jesus, Kate Christ, man. Get with it. Matthew Rothschild in the Progressive, who may or may not know about the Astros, says brownieism is the problem. I sure hope this article isn't about brownie hounds, because then we'll get joiced. So George Bush is back in New Orleans again. This is from yesterday, hoping this third time will be the charm. But he's at a loss to undo the mistakes of the past 2 weeks, and no amount of photo ops with New York firefighters now in New Orleans, and no amount of crisp salutes as he steps off helicopters or battleships can put the luster on his lackluster performance when the chips were down and the water was high. Nancy Pelosi is right. Bush is dangerously out of touch. But it's not just Bush's personality, it's his M.O. and it's his philosophy of governance. The unnatural disaster in New Orleans is the direct consequence of a government that lets our cities go to hell by underfunding basic repairs to the infrastructure, a government that doesn't care about the rising number of poor people and that blames them for their own poverty, just as some elected officials and right-wing pundits blame the drowning victims for not fleeing when they had no means of doing so. A government that believes its main purpose is to kill people abroad, not to save people at home. A government that has more cronyism and patronage than the first and second Mayor Daley's combined. Michael Brown was not the problem. Brownieism is. Brownieism, a system of crony capitalism characterized by greed and incompetence that appears in the advanced stages of a corrupt empire. Brownieism has now revealed itself for the entire nation to see, and all the king's horses and all the king's men can't put Bush's image back together again. Not even the king's right-hand man, Dick Cheney, who went down to comfort people of New Orleans. Cheney is cuddly like a porcupine. What a great line. He's as cuddly as a porcupine. In classic mumble mode, Cheney said, the performance in general, at least in terms of the information I've received from locals, is definitely very impressive. I assume he wasn't talking about the local who told him to go F himself. For the Bush administration, this has been an atrocious performance top to bottom, but that is to be expected in the age of brownieism. Although I do like brownies. Don't you?
Yeah, had some.
Nice warm brownies, just fresh out of the oven.
Oh, warm pan. You know what? I like the edges where they're.
Are you eating pizza now? I can smell it. Probably Tony, Brad over at Tony's.
You know it, man. Sausage and pepperoni.
Thanks a lot, Brad. Sausage and what?
And pepperoni goes straight to
your heart. And pepperoni. Oh my God! Don't tell Gary Sarner that you're eating trafe. 670. You know, this might not be as. Don't take this for granted, Mister. Don't make any early plans on coming back tomorrow until we see what happens here. Until we see the fallout. What do you got? I got 675. You still need 25 in 21 minutes. That's a tall order for you.
Not a problem.
Yeah. 675 stinking votes. By many a day, we had 1,000 at this time on poll questions that were much less universal than crappy TV shows, of which there are 80 million. And we'd have a lot more on there if I weren't reading these stupid stories, but nevertheless. And the phone is working now. WQAM, hello. QAM. Oh. WQAM, hello. The phone is not working now.
Okay, so...
See that? WQAM. Now, there's nothing going on here. I mean, the arrow comes up. I just can't hear them.
The dots came back. No, neither can we.
The dots came back, and we can't... The phone is all screwed up.
The
phone is all screwed up. There you go, Tom Jicha. There's another reason we ought to be taking 1 million phone calls on this show talking to bozos, because they can't even keep the phone working on this stupid-ass station.
So, how about some stories?
Oh, I got them. I got a big pile. See, I'm punching them up, and the arrow comes up like there's supposed to be somebody there. Now, before, there were nothing flashing, and there were people were there, so it's like just directly back-asswards of what it was before.
Right.
A talk radio station that can't keep the phones working, that's us. That's us. That's QAM. Oh, you know something?
What?
Well, if you look under where I never saw that before. If you look under where the flashes are, look at that.
What about it?
And there's the arrow, and there's nobody there. It's not picking up the line. Now, what happens if you punch it up?
Same thing. I just tried.
All right, sports fans. Welcome to a real make-believe radio station.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
It's Dave in Miami town at 560 WQAM.
If you can't stand Hugo Chavez, take him out. If you can't stand Hugo Chavez, take him out. If you rule Venezuela, I'm afraid we'll have to kill you. And with lead, we're going to fill you. Take him out.
All right. You found well, it ravaged your front yard and it blew through the hamburger stand now. It seems it destroyed all the schools and libraries and we're all in a blackout. And with a hurricane blasting, it's raining just as hard as it can now. You better run, run, run till the hurricane blows you away. Run, run, run till the hurricane blows you away. Well, we're like down and it's not safe to try drive any place now, can't drive any place with lightning and thunder crashing right in front of your face. It's right in your face now, it's right in your face. It left your car up in the trees and you've become a real fast. Hurry fast, case now, get out of this place. Run, run, run till the hurricane blows you away. Run, run, run till the hurricane better. Run, run, run.
147, 13 till 2 at QAM. So the phone is messed up now. Did you figure out what it is yet or what?
Reset everything. Give it a shot.
WQAM, hello.
Hello, Uncle Neil.
Yes, sir. Nice job there, guys.
I apologize, but I got a bucket full of swill for you here.
A bucket?
That's what he said.
Here's 5 of them, all right? Love American Style.
Oh, awful, yes.
The Bob Newhart Show.
No.
Love Boat.
The Love Boat. This is a good list.
Get Smart.
Right.
And Knight Rider.
Okay, I think we got Knight Rider. But that's 4 great ones. Thank you so much. The Love Boat and Love American Style. It gives me piles. The Love Boat. Actually, they put the Love Boat on the air and they thought it was going to be like a throwaway, and all of a sudden it became a hit. A big, fat, boobied hit.
That's because of charro. Cuchi, cuchi.
As Robert Duvall would say in Network. A big, big, fat, boobied hit. Remember he said that?
Yeah, but he didn't say boobies.
No. He said something with a T. He said, how's it going, T? 5, 6, 7. We got our 700 plus, so Josh can relax. Take a boy. I tell you, they just what do we got? 702. See, you got to 700, and then they just stopped, like they're doing us a favor. You people just don't get it, do you? You don't understand. You think I'm kidding you? 705. Careers were made or broken on lesser things than this. Anybody believe it?
No.
No, they weren't. WQAM. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
Pretty good.
Over the weekend, I was with my 12-year-old niece. And whenever I said something obvious, she would say, toy. And she said some word that kids use to mean that something's very obvious or something. So I know she doesn't listen to the show.
How do you know?
She may. Maybe I'll have to ask her next time.
Boy.
Could you give this message to Momo?
Well, pass the message along to Momo, whatever. Oh, Catherine Harris, by the way, remember that plane crash?
What about it?
If Catherine Harris has any hope of beating Senator Bill Nelson, says the Sun Sentinel, she may need an extreme makeover. The Republican Congresswoman's poll numbers are bad. Her appearance continues to be a distracting issue, and a large number of voters already have a set image in their minds about her. These are some of the reasons Republican leaders in Washington try to find somebody to run against her. So is it true that she can't beat Nelson? Never say never, but many political experts believe the only way she could win is if voters see her as a successful congresswoman with something substantive to say on issues, rather than the caricature her critics see, a flirty, vacant beauty queen wannabe who used her role in the 2000 presidential recount to get to Capitol Hill. And, of course, all of that is
absolutely correct, sir.
It's why, in a recent Quinnipiac University poll, it shows if the election were held today, she'd get few Democrats to cross lines to vote for her, lose much of the independent vote to Nelson, and not have strong enough Republican support to make up the gap. In fact, the poll showed Nelson will beat the crap out of her 57 to 33%. How do you like that? A landslide. Bring her on, baby. Bring Catherine Harris on. That's the kind of candidates the Republicans need to run a lot of in 2006. Because unless the American public is a lot dumber than we thought, and believe me, we think they're pretty stupid, but unless they're a lot dumber than I thought, there is no way that they're going to put these grave-robbing Nazis back in again in this off-year election. So they can rubber stamp everything that Hermann Goering the second wants to do. Here's a fax from Tom who says, thank God, oh yes, Dr. Phil, we got Oprah on there, how come we couldn't have Dr. Phil? Right. He's going to go zooming toward the top.
He's on there.
Dr. Phil makes me ill. He's on there?
Well, he's on now.
We just put him on now, yeah.
Right.
God, he is just... And to think that he was in the Astrodome counseling people, that would be like Gilbert doing brain surgery at Mount Sinai this afternoon. I mean, what are we talking about? We're talking about serious problems. People with, like, their lives in total disarray, their lives turning to a pile of crap. And here's Dr. Phil going over there, man. And people are like, oh, well, Oprah did such a wonderful job. You know, her and Barack Obama, man. Don't be seen with that bitch again, Barack. We like you a lot, but, find a better girlfriend than that stinking Oprah. Well, she's got plenty of cash.
That's right.
Speaking of cash, politicians, don't interrupt now. I don't have a lot of time here, okay, because of this phone thing. We've got to get all those calls on before midnight. Politicians let big oil use Katrina to pillage the public. I don't have time to read this whole thing, but it's on our website, isn't it? Yeah, it's on there. by Joe McNally of the Madison Capital Times. It seems petty to complain about gas prices at a time when every major American city has been washed off the map. Well, when a major American city has been washed off the map, and 500,000 our citizens are newly homeless. But petty resentments are what drive politics in this country. Political careers are built on whipping up small-mind hatred towards some of the most powerless groups among us, minorities, gays, liberal Democrats. So it shouldn't be any surprise that a sudden surge of 50 to 75 cents in the price of a gallon of gas could have even greater political consequences than the Bush administration's incompetent cutting of flood control projects for New Orleans. It's pretty bad that in 2004 the president slashed by 80% funding requested by the New Orleans District of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to hold back the waters of Lake Pontchartrain and made further cuts this year. But what really gets folks' blood boiling, really gets them pissed off and fired up, is $3.50 a gallon gasoline and the growing suspicion that local service stations, big oil companies, and a government-run buy-in for oil executives are playing us for fools. They are raping you, man. Gang rape, and it ain't funny. And Catherine Blanco, by the way, the governor of Louisiana, the rather incompetent one, she is foaming at the mouth, ripping FEMA, screaming and lashing out at everybody she can. You go, Kathleen. Maybe she'll make a comeback. I doubt it.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Neil, God.
Hello, neighbor. Hi. How you doing today? Fine. How about a barbecue this weekend? I'm busy.
Does the terrorist live next to you?
Hello.
Is your neighbor named a Buckaboo? Does he leave his lights on late at night? Or Google how to make dynamite?
I love Google.
Does he keep lots of weapons buried underneath his in-ground pool? In-ground pool. Does he think that George Bush is a complete and utter total tool?
Yes.
Total tool. Is he out in the backyard with night vision goggles shooting mice? Shooting mice. When you start your own car, do you feel as if you are rolling dice? Rolling the dice.
Well, if his name appears on any governmental list, watch your back 'cause you might be living next door to a terrorist. Does his mom and dad live in Iraq? Does he wear a shiny new backpack?
Yes.
There are warning signs. Check your yard for buried mines. It's easy to tell that he is in a sleeper cell.
Does a terrorist live next to you? Is your neighbor named a Buckaboo?
Yeah, I'd run right out in the backyard and start screaming, "You terrorist, you ferret!" Right. Worst TV show of all time. How did we get backed up against? Because I had the story about this New York cop that attacked the guy because he said he looked like Al-Qaeda. I'll save it for tomorrow. Tomorrow? Oh. Worst TV show of all time. The Anna Nicole Show, 107, and Throwing Up Gotti, 90. We got a pretty good two-house race. Rosie's right on her ass, though, with 65.
Bye, bye, bye!